All right, how we doing out there? Mic check 1 2. Getting started in a minute. 5:44 here. Hey Dave, good to see you. Welcome back. All right, 5:45. Welcome to the weekly Scamware 101 live stream. We go over many scam awareness tips to help you protect yourself from scams. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes here. Just want to give everybody a chance to join before we dive right in. But while we're waiting, if you could hit that thumbs up button, give us a like, and help us spread awareness. We'll see if we get some more people in the live stream, and say hello in the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're watching. I already see Dave Cruz over in one of the chats. Good to see you, as always. We're going to go over about 20 different scams this evening. We're also going to go over red flags to help identify a scammer and a scam. And we're going to get started in about 4 minutes here. Just give everybody a chance to join. My name is Jared with Scamware 101. We do this weekly live stream just to spread awareness of scams. Because it's a problem. There's a lot of scammers out there. And it's only getting worse. They're using AI. They're using the latest technology. And they're winning. They're getting away with it. And they're stealing lots of money from innocent victims. So we here at Scamware 101 believe that scam awareness is key. You know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure when it comes to scam awareness. So we want to spread the word about these scams and let you know what common scams are circulating, some of the common narratives they use. We're going to show you some examples of text messages and emails, and we're going to play some recordings of some scammer phone calls. All good stuff coming up for you on this live stream here. We've got 3 more minutes, and we're going to start diving into some examples. But again, in the meantime, hit that thumbs up, give us a like, say hi in the chat. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're watching. Get started about 3 minutes. 3 minutes. A lot of scams we're going to cover this evening. We have videos about them on our YouTube channel as well. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and take a look at those videos later. You know, most of the scams we cover, maybe later on you're going to want to go and share a video about one of those scams with a loved one to make them aware of it. So make sure to subscribe and hit that like button too. You know, it helps the likes and the subscribers. It helps spread awareness about our scams. Helps spread awareness about the content we're providing here, and that's the goal. It takes a village. 2 minutes, we're going to start diving into some examples here. 2 minutes to go. In the meantime, you go to scamware101.com and you can join our free mailing list here. Just go to scamware101.com and hit join mailing list. We'll send you reminders when we're having these live streams, and we'll send you some useful scam awareness tips. Of course, you could unsubscribe at any time. You get started about 2 minutes here. Okay, go over all different types of scams this evening. We're going over text message scams, email scams, phone call scams. And of course, the red flags of how to identify them and protect yourself. We got 2 live streams going, a vertical live stream and a widescreen live stream, depending which view you prefer. So I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between the 2 chats, but I'll be doing my best to interact and talk with you all. So say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't yet. We're going to get started in about 1 more minute here. 1 more minute. We're going to start diving into some examples. One more minute. All right, 5:50. It is time. Welcome to the Scam Aware 101 weekly live stream. We focus on scam awareness topics. We'll go over some recent scams, some common scams to watch out for. My name is Jared, and I'll be presenting tonight. But before we get started, help us spread awareness about these scams. Hit that thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure to join our free email list on scamaware101.com. We'll keep you updated, let you know when we post new content. And our mission here at Scamaware 101 is to spread awareness. We want to spread awareness about these scams so people can identify them and recognize them quicker and protect themselves and their loved ones from being scammed. And we're being targeted from all angles from these scammers. They're reaching out to you by phone, they're reaching out to you by text message, they're reaching out to you by email, and they're still sending snail mail letters through good old U.S. Postal Service as well. So the scammers are out there, they're active, and they're constantly targeting us. So it's important to be aware of what's happening, what's going on. And that's what we try to do over here at Scamware 101. And we believe that showing you examples of these scams, going over the narratives that the scammers use, it'll help you better identify them when you're the target. And that's what we intend to do on this live stream. We usually go for about 3 hours, sometimes more. Depends how much coffee I drink. And we're going to cover about 20 different types of common scams that are circulating right now and that you need to watch out for. Make sure to say hi in the chat. We want to hear your experience. Let us know what scams you're running into, which ones you're being targeted with, which ones your friends are being targeted with. If you've ever been scammed, tell us your story. Or if you know someone that's been scammed, tell us their story as well. It's about community here. We need to all be aware and spread what we know and help the community. And with that said, let's get started with some common scams that are circulating now to watch out for. The first one we're going to start with is going to be an arrest warrant scam. Now, we did a video about these arrest warrant scams. Sometimes they're known as jury duty scams. And we did a video about this a couple months ago, so make sure to check it out later on our YouTube channel. But basically, an arrest warrant scam is when a victim is contacted by a scammer impersonating law enforcement. The scammer claims an arrest warrant was issued and fines must be paid to resolve it. The scammer then threatens the victim with arrest if fines aren't paid immediately. Right, so the scammer is impersonating law enforcement, and in a lot of the reports that we've seen, they're impersonating the sheriff's office. And when they call the victim, the sheriff's phone number will actually show on the caller ID. And that's something to keep in mind. That's something we're going to mention a lot on this live stream, and it's definitely an important bit of detail to take away with you from this live stream tonight, is that scammers can manipulate what the caller ID shows. Right, that means that when they're calling you impersonating the bank, they can show the bank's phone number on caller ID. When they're calling you impersonating law enforcement or the sheriff's office, they could show law enforcement and the sheriff's office phone number on caller ID. And we know that's being done in these cases with these arrest warrant scams. The scammers are calling victims over the phone. They're impersonating the sheriff's office. The victim is seeing the sheriff's office phone number on the caller ID, so they believe they're actually talking to the sheriff's office. And they're getting threatened with arrest if they don't pay immediately. And these scammers, they can be pretty scary. When they get this person on the phone, they'll tell them, you got to pay right now, otherwise we're sending a deputy down there to arrest you right away. And that could be scary to a lot of people. So that's an arrest warrant scam. They're going to reach out. In most cases, they're reaching out over the phone. And another detail is they're providing fake paperwork. They're trying to seem more convincing. That's been reported as well. So in the video we did about these arrest warrant scams, we show some clips from different news organizations where the sheriff's making an announcement And they mention these things. They mention that the phone number might show the sheriff's office. They mention that the scammer might offer paperwork, to make their story seem real. They're tactics that the scammers are using, and it's important to be aware of them. A lot of times they'll say an arrest warrant was issued because you missed jury duty. And that's why a lot of times these kind of get referred to as jury duty scams, as well as arrest warrant scams. So here's some takeaways about arrest warrant scams to keep in mind. Always remember, scammers can manipulate the phone number shown on caller ID. Just because the caller ID says it's someone, that doesn't mean it is. You need to verify in a different way. You'll hang up and call the organization directly. Scammers are known to provide fake paperwork to convince victims of an arrest warrant. So keep that in mind too. If you're just getting an unsolicited phone call of somebody claiming there's an arrest warrant for you and you got to pay, it's a red flag. Even if they say they have paperwork for you, it's a red flag. In fact, that's a red flag when you get any call demanding payment from you immediately. That's what scammers do. They try to scare you. And we're going to talk about a lot of those different types of scams on this live stream. And fear is a tactic that the scammers use. If you get a phone call claiming a warrant was issued for your arrest, here's what you do. Right? If you're actually concerned and you think there is a warrant for your arrest, ask for the name of the organization that issued the warrant. Hang up the call, and then call the organization directly. Right? Do not engage with the scammer who contacted you. And unfortunately, you have to do that a lot. And when you get a phone call, an unsolicited phone call from someone, whether claiming to be from the bank or claiming to be from the power company or claiming to be from law enforcement, you have to hang up and call back directly. Right? Go look up the actual number of who they claim they are and call it directly. You can't just trust incoming phone calls anymore, even if they know things about you, because scammers know a lot about us. So anyway, that's the first scam that you need to be aware of that we talked about so far this evening, is arrest warrant scam, otherwise known as a jury duty scam. Right? The scammer calls a victim, tells them there's an arrest warrant, threatens them with arrest if they don't pay immediately over the phone. It's all fake. And there's actually been a lot of warnings about these coming out of the law enforcement and sheriff's offices. Lots of media attention on this type of scam because law enforcement, they don't like being impersonated, right? And that's what this scam is all about. This scam is all about them impersonating law enforcement and pretending that there's a warrant out that you need to pay for. So, let your loved ones know. Let your friends know. Don't trust unsolicited phone calls saying there's an arrest warrant. And that's the first scam of the evening that we're kicking it off with. We got about 18 or 19 more to go. It's going to be a nice, educational, informative evening. And if you stick around, hopefully we'll go over something new. You'll learn something. Or at least be reminded about something that you can share with your friends or warn your friends about too. Repetition is important, especially when it comes to these type of scams and their tactics. You're going to hear me repeat certain things a lot this evening. Like that phone caller ID being manipulated by scammers, right? That's an important detail. And that's one of those details where you hear a victim's story, and if they had only realized that scammers can manipulate the caller ID, it might have been enough for them to be more suspicious, but they didn't realize it. So let's talk about our next scam. And by the way, if you're just joining in, hit that thumbs up, give us a like, say hi in the chat, let us know you're watching. We do this live stream every week, spread awareness about scams, trying to put something good out there. The more engagement we get, the more our content will spread, right? The more likes, the more chat, the more subscribers. So help us out, help us spread awareness. You could also join our free email list on scamaware101.com. You get join mailing list. And some of you may notice something new on the screen this week. That nice little QR code that goes to scamaware101.com/donate. So there we have it. Now, if anybody wants to help out financially, help support the mission, throw us a couple bucks. We appreciate it. Now it's nice and easy. You got the QR code there and the URL too. If you don't want to scan the QR code, you go right to scamaware101.com/donate. Anything helps. Let's talk about our next scam. Bank impersonation scams. So this scam is extremely common right now. It's probably going to stay common forever. And it's when a scammer impersonates a bank. They usually claim there's suspicious activity under a victim's account. They'll reach out to the victim by phone a lot of times, but they also target victims by text message. There's also plenty of phishing emails that impersonate the bank. So it's important to always be suspicious of any unsolicited communication that claims to be from your bank. And the caller ID will show the bank's phone number. We know that's happening right now. And victims are often tricked into withdrawing their money because they don't think it's safe anymore. The scammer tells them that there's suspicious activity, someone's in your account, and you need to move your money. And the victim thinks that they're talking to the bank. A lot of times the victim thinks they're talking to the bank is because the caller ID will show the bank's phone number. And that's just another example of why you can't trust the caller ID. And that's an important detail to remember and spread and let people know about. So let's talk some more about these bank impersonation scams. I have some examples to show you. So first example here is a text message that's impersonating TD Bank. It's actually from a scammer. And there's a story that goes along with this text message. The person who submitted this example to us, they actually got a phone call right before receiving this text message. And the phone call had the bank's phone number, had TD Bank's phone number on the caller ID. But they didn't answer the phone. Right? So they don't answer their phone, and immediately after, they get a text message. And the text message says, verified TD Bank card activity. Did you attempt a transaction for $250 at Walgreens? Reply yes if recognized or no if not. But this is a scam. This is a fake text message. It's not really from the bank. This is from a scammer. And they're trying to lure in new victims. In a lot of cases, the scammer might know what bank you use. Because unfortunately, scammers do have a lot of information about us. So the scammer may have known that this person uses TD Bank. And let me show you some red flags about how you could tell that this text message is actually from a scammer and not from the bank. So one of the first giveaways is that it doesn't specify what card the activity was on. If this had been a real notification from the bank, it would have indicated, it would have said like the last 4 digits of the card or account. It would have had some kind of indication which account they were talking about, right? So that's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 is the message came from the actual phone number. If this had been from the bank, it would have came from one of those short code phone numbers. You know how you get those text messages sometimes, like verify codes and things like that, right? A lot of times they'll come from a 5-digit code instead of a phone number. It just comes from a 5-digit short number. And if this had been from your bank, it would have been from a short 5-digit code. So that was red flag number 2. And the third red flag about this text message, and you can't rely on this all the time, but it is a red flag, is when there's capitalization problems. Like incorrect capitalization. So like the letter T in transaction is capitalized for no reason. Right? The letter R is capitalized for no reason. The letter C in card is capitalized for no reason. The letter N in not is capitalized for no reason, right? So you can tell it's a little off. So that's red flag number 3. Unfortunately, red flag number 3, you're not going to really be able to count on that often because now scammers are using AI, which means their text messages are reading more professionally, right? Their phone calls sound more professional, so you can't really rely on that anymore. But when it's there, it's there. And in this case, we do see the capitalization errors. So those were 3 kind of indicators of how this text message was a scam and not real. Now, what would have happened if you replied? Well, if you had replied, eventually the scammer would have tried to get you on the phone. They would have told you something like your account's been turned off and now they have to provide information, reactivate it. But it's going to end up in them trying to get access to your bank or trying to convince you to move funds out of your bank. So watch out for these bank impersonation scams. And again, a phone call came in right before this text message was received. So they're targeting victims by phone. They're targeting victims by text message. So be aware of that and be suspicious of anybody that claims to be from your bank. Even if the caller ID shows the bank's phone number, you can't trust it. All right, so that's a second type of scam we talked about this evening. I see some more viewers joining. Great to see you. Some new faces. That thumbs up. Give us a like. help us spread awareness. We're going to be going over about 20 different types of scams this evening. We're going to be going over some red flags to identify scams. We have 2 live streams going right now, a vertical one and a widescreen one, so I'm hopping back and forth between both chats, but I am taking a look and I'm going to try to answer everybody. It might be a little slow since I'm jumping back and forth and doing the presenting here. But again, my name is Jared with Scamware 101. We do this live stream every week, spread awareness about common scams to help you protect yourself, protect your loved ones. You can join our free mailing list on scamaware101.com. You can click join mailing list, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do release videos. We try to release them regularly about new scams. And yeah, a lot of scams we'll be talking about this evening we actually have videos about as well. So we can go check them out later on, share them with a loved one. So hit that like button. Give us a like, say hi in the chat, share your experiences with us. See, looking at chat right now, I see some people talking. See, John mentions he's been getting a lot of these fake bank impersonation scams. Yeah, it's a popular scam right now. You know, and then a scammer they get direct access to your bank. They let them in. It's like no beating around the bush. They don't even have to make up a story. You already think they're from the bank, and the victim lets them right in. You know, we got Adrian asking how we know if a QR code is safe to click on. Well, at the very least, you need to at least preview the URL right before you actually go to it. So if you are scanning a QR code, usually it'll pop up the URL first, and it'll tell you where it goes to. I mean, if the QR code says where it goes to, skip scanning it at all. Just type it in directly, right? This way, at least you know it's not tricking you. Like the QR code I have on my screen right now to donate, right? If you don't scan the QR code, that's fine. But right under it is the URL, scamaware101.com/donate. So you know what? Even if somebody malicious came in here, switched out the QR code, you still see the URL at the bottom where it's supposed to go, right? So that's a couple suggestions for you. Always at least verify it's going where it's supposed to before you trust it. And bypass it completely if it's an option. If you know where it's supposed to go to, just bypass it completely and go there directly. So, don't know if you're still in the chat, Adrian, but hope that answers your question. And welcome to the live stream. It's your first time joining. All right, cool. All right, we're going to keep on rolling here. Next scam we're going to talk about is tech support scams. This one's been around for a while, but it's been around for a while because it works. People are falling for it, and the scammers are making money from it. So it's been around for a while. So how these tech support scams work is they trick a victim into calling a fake tech support number. Right? Usually it starts with a fake virus alert or fake virus pop-up that says to call a number for help. So the victim thinks that they're calling tech support. They think they have a virus on their computer or something's wrong, and they think they're getting help from a legit support company. But what they don't realize is they're actually calling a scammer. And that's known as a tech support scam. And we have a bunch of examples of this scam to share with you this evening. We also did a video about this as well. So any examples that we share with you tonight are in that video. But let's dive into some examples of how these tech support scams might start. And that's with a fake virus alert. And the first couple examples I'm going to show you, very generic, basic alerts. And I'm going to show you some more convincing ones after this. All right, so in this first example, just to get an idea, is you know, the victim's browsing the internet, minding their own business, and they get a pop-up that looks like this. Right, big scary red letters, warning, 5 viruses detected. Our latest scan has detected 5 viruses and tracking cookies that may steal your personal info. And it says, call us immediately with a 800 number to call. All right, but if you call that number, you're actually be calling a scammer. And the thing you'll notice on a lot of these fake virus alerts is, one, you know they're fake because it has a number to call. If this had been a real alert from your antivirus software, it wouldn't have had a phone number for you to call. All right? And you'll notice a lot of these fake alerts, they'll have these scary messages, right? So it lists all these scary things that are going to happen. Your system crashing, file deletion, theft, personal data loss, Wi-Fi loss, infections on your other devices. So they're trying to scare the victim into calling this number. They don't want them to think straightly. They just want them to freak out and call this number. And again, they rely on fear, just like the previous scams that we went over. And the rest weren't scam, they rely on fear, right? They make the victim think they're going to get arrested. Right? And the bank impersonation scams, they make the victim think that their money's not safe. Right? Someone's going to get access to your money. Someone's got your identity. Right? And now here we are in the tech support scams. They're making the victim think that their PC's infected. They got to call this number immediately. They're trying to provoke them into an immediate action with fear. Right? That's the first example. Here's the second example. And these first three generic examples, they're going to look the same. Big red letters, warning, a list of scary things that could happen, data exposed, your credit card, your email passwords, your Facebook, your private photos. And it has a number to call immediately. But again, you call that number, you're going to be connected to a scammer, and they impersonate tech support. And that's what a tech support scam is. Here's a third generic example. And these fake pop-ups, they just come from websites. On this example, you can actually see an address bar up at the top. So you can see it's loading from a website. It's just a web page that looks like that's designed to look like a virus alert. But same deal with this example. Big scary red letters, right? Warning, your computer's infected. Call tech support now. That has a number to call, but we're actually calling a scammer. And something to keep in mind about these tech support scams is, we're not talking about like these individual scammers that are sitting alone and doing these scams by themselves. There's call centers full of scammers that are there. They work there during the day. It's their job. And they sit there and they answer phone calls and they impersonate tech support. It's their job to scam people calling these phone numbers. So this scam's very popular, and there's a bunch of scammers on the other end waiting to take your call, to take the victim's call. And how it works is they trick the victim into thinking there's a virus, use a fake virus alert. Sometimes they'll trick them with an email that says there's an issue in the call, but a lot of times there's a fake virus alert pop up. Let me show you some more convincing examples of those virus alerts. Here's one that impersonates McAfee. And this one's much more believable. It's got McAfee's logo. It's got their colors. Your computer is infected with a Trojan. It says, call McAfee helpline. But that's not McAfee helpline. That's a scammer's phone number. You're going to be calling a call center full of scammers. They'll impersonate McAfee, but they're going to try to get onto your computer and scam you. Another example, Norton by Symantec. Threats detected. Call support. If you call a number, you'll be connected to a scammer. Impersonates tech support. All right, system critically infected. If you're not able to click on this button immediately, contact support toll free. And again, the giveaway is it even has a phone number. Real virus alerts won't have a phone number to call. Something I thought was funny about this warning is when you click the go buttons, nothing happens. But that's by design, because then it says, if you are not able to click this button, contact support, and it's got the phone number. So that's just another way they're trying to trick the victim into calling this fake support number. And here's one impersonating Windows Defender. It's got the Microsoft logo, the list of scary things that are been compromised, email credentials, banking passwords, and they say contact Windows support at, but that's not Windows support's phone number. It's a scammer. And here's one more that impersonates Windows Defender, another example of a fake virus alert. This leads to a tech support scam. Access this PC has been blocked for security reasons. Contact Windows support. And again, it's got the Microsoft logo there. If you call, you'll be connected to a scammer. And one of the things to keep in mind about these tech support scams is everybody's vulnerable to these, meaning it doesn't matter what type of device you're on. Whether you're on a Windows PC, an Apple device, you could be on your iPhone, right? Anything that browses the internet could get these fake virus alert pop-ups. Now, some people think that because they use an Apple device or a Mac device, they're more secure, more safe, but that's not true. And here's some examples of that. Here's a fake virus alert that targets Safari users. Right, virus found. Your Mac computer has 13 infections. And it tries to scare you into calling this fake tech support phone number. Right, there's a list of scary stuff, data at risk. It says you have a bank password downloader. Right, so they're trying to scare you into calling this number. And this is Safari users, right? So it doesn't matter if you're on Windows, a Mac. Here's another example. This one impersonates Apple Care. And the pop-up says, warning, macOS is infected with viruses and other malicious applications. And it says to call Apple support. that's not really their phone number. It's got connected to a scammer call center, and they're gonna lie to you and try to take everything you got. And here's the third example of a fake virus pop-up that leads to a tech support scam. And again, this one impersonates Apple, targets Mac users. Mac OS is infected with spyware and other malicious applications. It has the Apple logo there. Call Apple helpline. This one looks like it even has a little timer too to make it sound like you have to call now. All right, they want you to act quickly without thinking. So watch out for these tech support scams. A lot of older folks fall for these. You know, they get nervous when they get the pop-up and they just call the number right away. It doesn't occur to them that's going to be a scammer. So it's important to make your older loved ones aware of this. And again, we did a video about these tech support scams. It's on our YouTube channel, so you go back and share it with them. It has all the same examples that we just went over on this live stream. So, but that's a common one, and it's a successful one, and it's working. So be aware of these tech support scams. And they usually start off with these fake virus alerts. How we doing out there? Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're here. Give us a thumbs up. The more likes we get, the more YouTube will spread our content to new viewers, and that's the plan. You know, spreading awareness, getting our content out there. Hit that thumbs up. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. We're going to keep going here. We go for about 3 hours. We're only half an hour in. So we got a lot more scams to go over this evening. Lots of good examples coming up for you. Hey, Elizabeth. What's up? Cool. Welcome to the live stream. I see someone else in the widescreen. I can't read their names. Some weird letters, but welcome. So thank you for this important scam awareness. You're very welcome. Just trying to get the word out there. There's too many of them. There's too many scams going around right now. And speaking of, let's jump into our next scam. And I'm sure a lot of you might already be familiar with this one, because this is probably the most common scam going around right now is these road toll scams, these fake unpaid road toll messages. All right, let me know in the chat if you've gotten any of these text messages. I know I have. And every week, a new version of these fake road toll scams are getting reported to me. So basically what these fake road toll scams are is scammers impersonate road toll services like Easy Pass, SunPass, Fast Track, and they claim that an unpaid toll is due. Victims are usually contacted by text message or email containing a link to pay the fake toll. However, the link opens a fake website designed to steal any personal or financial information entered by the victim. There never was an unpaid toll due. Right? And that's how these road toll scams work. And right now, there are so many variations of this text message going around. And I have a ton of examples of these text messages to share with you. So let's take a look right now. So we started seeing this scam towards the end of last year, end of last year. But it's evolved ever since. And we released a video towards the end of last year. And these are examples that it had in it. They can see on my screen. These are the type of text messages everybody was getting. California toll services. Our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $64.90, please sell your balance of $6.49. And then it has a link to a fake website to pay the fake toll. But you can see all sorts of examples here. North Carolina toll services, Illinois toll services, Ohio toll services, Virginia toll services, your recent trip through New Jersey toll point, Pennsylvania Turnpike toll services, New York toll services, Florida SunPass. And all of these text messages had fake websites in them that they try to sound legit, but they're all fake websites. And this is how the original versions of the scam used to work. But then we started seeing it evolve. And we started seeing it impersonate Easy Drive, Massachusetts. And by the way, these text messages, sometimes they come from phone numbers inside the U.S., but other times, like the example on my screen here, they come from a number outside of the U.S. But you can see on this example here, I think this is the Philippines +63. But this one impersonates Fast Track, but then the link says Easy Drive MA. And And it says, pay your fast track lane tolls by January 24th, 2025 to avoid a fine and keep your license. You can pay it at, and then it has the link to the fake website. Now, something to notice about this text message, too, is at the end it says, please reply Y, and then exit the text and reopen it again. That's a red flag. That's important to remember. A lot of these scam text messages, and you're going to see it in the examples that we shared tonight, they have this instruction at the end that says, please reply yes, and then exit and reopen the message. All right, if you see that, that's a big red flag. It's a scam. They want you to reply because that tells them that, one, you're getting their messages, you're reading them, and you will interact with them. And two, on iPhones, if you reply, it's going to activate these links. So they'll send you more malicious links. So don't ever reply to these text messages. But let's show you some more examples here of these fake road toll. The toll roads notice of toll evasion. You have an unpaid toll bill on your account. To avoid late fees, pay within 12 hours or late fees will be increased and reported to the DMV. And it's got a fake link here that says it has SunPass in the name. They're trying to be more tricky about it, but it's a fake link. And it has that instruction to please reply yes and exit and reopen. So there's another example, and it came from +63 outside the country on this one. Here's another one. This one came from +231. I don't know what country that is, but it's outside the U.S. This was final warning. Unpaid tolls. Failure to pay $3.99 toll may result in further penalties. Deadline, March 12th, 2025. And it's got a link again to the fake website to pay the toll. And there's so many different variations of this text message going around now. Again, every week I'm seeing a new version. A couple weeks ago, somebody gave me this example. She got a text message and it had a document attached. And the document said toll violation notice. As you can see on my screen, this was the document that's attached. So they're sending out file attachments too, PDFs, trying to get people to these fake toll websites. And they use fear. They use fear, right? Look, here's the list. Additional fines and administration fees, suspension or revocation of vehicle registration, referral to collections, which may affect your credit, potential civil or legal procedures, right? So fear, there it is again. They're using fear just like they did in the last 3 scams went over. And these are all part of the unpaid toll scam that's going around. So what happens if you click on one of these links? Well, they'll take it to a website that it'll look pretty legit. So this example is Washington State's Good to Go toll service. They get the text. It says they missed a toll. They need to pay Good to Go. And it takes them to this fake website. But the website looks legit, right? It's got the logo. It's got the color theme. You click payment. It'll take it to a page that also looks legit. Put in your credit card details. But if you do, anything you enter will get stolen by the scammer. So you need to watch out for these fake websites too. I mean, the scammers make them. They'll make them look legit. So these are unpaid road toll scams. Again, I have so many examples. I could probably spend the next 20 minutes showing you even more examples of this. And it's been a big issue. Here's a warning from North Carolina Quick Pass, where they're showing examples of what a real text message would look like and a fake one would look like. So all these toll agencies are getting in on it. The text message, they've impersonated SunPass, Peach Pass, Quick Pass, Good to Go, Easy Pass, North Texas Tollway, Drive Easy Maryland, Fast Track, and they've impersonated even more since I made this graphic. They started impersonating the DMV. They're sending out text messages claiming to be the DMV. There's one more example I'm going to show you. Final reminder, toll payment deadline. See, but this one came from inside the U.S. So it varies. I see Dave is telling us +231 was Liberia. Great. So we got text messages coming around from them. There's another example. And they, failure to pay may result in suspension of vehicle registration, financial penalties, damage to your credit score. Notice how they spell your credit score? U-R? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not sending out real text messages using UR and shorthand. So anyway, yeah, everybody's getting these fake toll alerts, and they definitely pick up during the holidays. And a lot of you, hey, it's important to be aware of that one right now, especially if you had family members that were traveling for the recent holiday over here in the U.S. We had Memorial Day weekend, a lot of travel on that weekend. So I'm sure people are getting hit with this text message thinking maybe they missed a road toll. So be aware of it. Make sure your family and friends are aware of this, especially if they're traveling over the weekend. Maybe you saw them for the holiday weekend. That's a road toll scam. All right, cool. See some more people in live stream. Awesome. Hi, Annie. Welcome. Newbie here. Awesome. Thanks for attending. We do this live stream every week. We post videos on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. Always appreciate the new viewers. You can also join our free email list. It's on scamaware101.com. You click join mailing list. We'll send you some scam awareness tips and reminders when we're going live. We won't spam you too much, I promise. You could always unsubscribe. See, Dave said plus 231 was Liberia, and then 231 is also area code for Michigan. Yeah, that was an international number we saw, though. But good looking out, though, Dave. Don't let anybody ever tell you you're not thorough. All right, cool. Let's go into our next example here. Wrong number scams. This is a good one. Wrong number scams. We did a video about wrong number scams a few months ago now, and it went viral. It's one of our only videos that went viral so far, but it got over 98,000 views. It's getting close. It's going to crack 100,000 eventually, which would be amazing. But yeah, this video got a lot of views, and check it out later. But we're going to go over some of the examples now. We're going to explain exactly what a wrong number scam is. And basically, if you've ever wondered why you get so many wrong number text messages that seem to be random, it's because it's a scam, right? Scammers use the wrong number scam. They use it as a way to reach new victims by sending text messages to random phone numbers. When someone replies, wrong number, the scammer attempts to continue the conversation and build trust with the victim. As trust is gained, this type of scam evolves into a romance or pig butchering scam that ultimately steals money from the trusting victim. So what these wrong number scams are is they're targeting all random phone numbers, and they're hoping that somebody's going to reply back. And what's tricky about them is they could start in any kind of way. They could start with a text message like, "Excuse me, is this Emma?" Or, "Hey Anna, I'm Josie." Or just something like "Hi" from an unknown number, right? Because our natural reaction is to reply to these text messages and say, "Sorry, wrong number," or "Who is this?" But that's what the scammer wants. That's why they're sending you these random text messages. They want to get a reply. One, at the very least, it tells them that it's an active phone number. The message is getting read, the person replies, and now they're going to try to scam you more. So that's the first thing that they accomplish with these wrong number scams. But the second thing they try to accomplish, they try to continue the conversation and build up trust. They try to build up trust with the victim so eventually they could scam them. All right, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, how is a wrong number text message going to build up trust? Well, we got some examples of these conversations to show you, kind of give you an idea where they go, all right? So here's one example of how a wrong number scam conversation could start out. "I'm Margaret, you Lillian." Person replies back, "I'm Izzy. I'm really sorry. I think I made a mistake between your number and Lillian's number. I hope I didn't disturb your good day." All right? Person replies back, "That's okay." At that point, the conversation should be over. But because of the wrong number scam, the scammer's going to try to continue a conversation and get to know the person. So you can see the scammer replies back, "Thank you for your understanding and patience. You're a kind person. I hope you have a good day today. I'm 36 years old. Would you mind telling me your age?" All right. They always end up starting to ask questions. They're going to ask your age. They're going to ask your location. They're going to ask your name. And in this example, they start off with asking your age. Once they have that information, then they're going to decide the type of scam to proceed with. All right, so here's another example of how a wrong number scam conversation might start out. "Have a cup of coffee together sometime." Right? Person gets this randomly. And they reply back, "Who is this?" Normal reply. Well, that's what the scammer wanted. They reply back, "Oh, this isn't my friend Lauren. Yeah, it replies back. Yeah, wrong number. At this point, it should stop. Right? It's been acknowledged as a wrong number. There shouldn't be a conversation anymore. Right? But the scammer replies back and continues. I'm sorry. I thought this was Laura's number. I think I dialed the wrong number or area code. I hope I'm not bothering you. Right? Victim replies back. You're good. Have a great day. Okay. At that point, again, conversation should end, but the scammer wants to keep it going. Thank you for your kindness to my situation. I just realized that I entered the wrong area code. Where are you from? Right? So now they're asking where you're from. Remember, last one started off asking your age. This one's asking where you're from. And it's a giveaway. It's a dead giveaway once they keep trying to get the conversation going. But I don't answer any text messages that are from numbers I don't know. I recommend you do the same. Let me show you some more examples. This is one that came to me, and we purposely kept the conversation going for a little bit to show you as an example. So we get the text message, completely random text message from unknown phone number, says hi. Right? We replied back like any other person would. Hi, who's this? Okay, that's what the scammer wants you to do. Don't do it, but we did it so you don't have to. The scammer replies back, I'm Karina. Are you David? We met last week at Linda's party. You picked my number. They'll give you some fake story, right? Hi, sorry, you have the wrong number. Just reply back like anybody would. Okay. But because this is a wrong number scam, they're going to keep the conversation going. They're going to reply back, oh my gosh, I checked and found out I entered the wrong area code. I hope this doesn't bother you. We reply back, that's okay, no problem. Again, conversation should have stopped, should have ended at this point. Right? But it keeps going. They say, thank you very much. You're a very friendly and polite person. I hope we could be friends. Nice to meet you. My name is Karina. What can I call you? Right. So now they're asking your name. And when they ask your name, then they can probably tell what sex you are, and they'll start determining what scam to run on you. We replied Pat, because Pat could be a guy or a girl. Right. And the scammer replies back, you have a beautiful name. I'm from Malaysia, currently living in Los Angeles. Where do you live? Right. And then at that point, we cut off the conversation. We had enough to show you. But in this example, they asked where you lived. Right. So last one asked your name. Right. The one before that asked your age. This one asks where you live. And those are the common questions they're going to ask you as they determine which scam to run. I got another example of these wrong number scams to share with you. They'll include a picture. They'll include a picture with a text message. And here's an example of one that they did. This is what text message I got. All right, it said, hi, Byron, I'm Jane. And they attach a picture. And so that message comes at 1:58 p.m. I don't reply. I know it's a scam. I'm not going to reply. Right? And 4 hours on the dot, I get a follow-up text message. Have you gotten the pictures I sent? So that's important to be aware of. Right? Not only are they're sending pictures out, trying to entice whoever to reply, but this is all automated. This is a bot. I mentioned earlier that the video we did on this scam got 98,000 views. Well, it also got a lot of comments. And this example was in that video. And a lot of the comments we got was there was quite a few people confirming they received the exact same message with the exact same picture. Right? So these scammers, they're just hitting everybody over and over again with these same text messages. And to them, it's a numbers game. Someone's going to reply. And then once they reply, they're going to try to continue the conversation. Right? And they'll try to lure victims in with a picture. Now, some guys could be sitting there thinking it's his lucky day, They'll start replying. And that's when they build up trust. They'll ask them to continue the conversation on WhatsApp. That's eventually going to happen. We're going to talk about that and red flags that we go over. But let me know. You guys get wrong number text messages like these? You ever wonder why you get so many wrong number text messages? There you go. That's why. And look, the best advice is don't even reply. Because even just replying lets them know that they can target you with more scams. They know that your phone number, you're reading the messages and actually replying. So don't even reply to these. I don't reply to any wrong number messages. If it's important, they'll keep on calling or eventually they'll tell me who they are, but I'm not going to reply or answer anything, any unknown numbers, any unsolicited messages. I don't care, what kind of picture you attach to it. So I suggest that's the official recommendation from Scamware 101. Don't reply to these text messages. Don't reply to these scammers. Yep, I'm seeing a few people in the chat. Yeah, confirming. Yep. Yep, wrong numbers, lots of tolls. Yep, Annie. Yep. These are probably the two most common types of text message scams circulate right now. It's the wrong number in the tolls. Depending on the time of year, you'll get the undeliverable package scams. And we're going to talk about those a little later on, but those pick up more during the holidays. So, yeah. So there's a bunch of examples of wrong number scams. Now, again, the wrong number scam is the way that it starts. It's the way that they pull into new victims, and then it evolves into a different type of scam. It evolves into a romance scam or a pig butchering scam. But the wrong number scam portion is the way that they pull a new victim in. All right, I see some more viewers. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do this live stream every week, Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, and our goal is just to spread awareness of these scams. You know, awareness is key to avoiding becoming a victim. It's how you can protect yourself, protect your loved ones from these scams. And we cover about 20 of different types of scams that we cover on our live stream. And we're only about 5 or so in right now. So we still got a ways to go. We're going to be going for at least another 2 hours. So hit that like button. Let us know in the chat you're watching and share experience. Let us know what scams you're being targeted with or any of the scams we talk about. If you're receiving scams like these and the text messages like these. And, you know, share your horror stories. You know, if you know someone who's gotten scammed or, unfortunately, a family member that got scammed, let us know. Share your stories and help others learn from the mistake, right? We're going to be going over red flags in a little bit. And the red flags, we learn from the victim's stories. You know, they share their stories, and there's these little red flags, little details. If they were aware of them, it would have been enough to protect themselves or to end the scam before they lost any money. But unfortunately, a lot of times they find out and it's too late, right? So we're going to talk about red flags next. We're actually around schedule. We have 6:40. So, hey, since you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up, give us a like, hit subscribe, and you can join our free email list on scamaware101.com. Go to the website, hit join mailing list. We won't send you junk mail. We won't sell your info. You know, it's just the most convenient way to send you an update, let you know when new content's available, remind you when we're going live, things like that. We'll send you some scam awareness tips. You know, we just sent out a mailing this holiday weekend, just reminding everybody, watch out for those road toll scams that we just talked over, just discussed. All right. So it's all good stuff. We don't abuse having your email address. You could unsubscribe at any time. But yeah, scamaware101.com, hit join mailing list, and we'll keep you in the loop and keep you engaged, right? Learn about these scams, protect yourself. So the next portion of this live stream, we're going to talk about red flags. We get those slides ready right now. Hey, I'm seeing a bunch of viewers. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Hit that thumbs up. Nah, Andy, please. I'm trying to get more people talking in the chat. Maybe if you keep talking, we'll get some more people talking. I see you. I'm replying. All right, see the undeliverable package, right? Yep, the undeliverable package scan. That one picks up a lot during the holidays. We're going to be going over that. I actually have some email and text message examples for you because there's actually 2 versions of that scam. So we got that one coming up in a little bit too. But that's in the next batch of scams we're going to talk about. Before we go into that, we're going to talk about red flags. All right. So we got 5 common red flags to go over with you. If you encounter any of these red flags, it's a strong indicator that you're dealing with a scammer. Definitely keep these red flags in mind. If you hear somebody sharing their story with you and they mention one of these red flags, you know, make them aware of it. You know, we got these 5 red flags, and seem to be the most common that occur when we hear a victim's story. And when they share their stories, a lot of times they ran into these red flags that we're about ready to mention. And really our goal here is to spread awareness of these red flags. So if you encounter them, you know right away that you're being scammed. If your family mentions it, you know right away. You can warn them about them being scammed. And we did a video about these 5 red flags as well. So later on, if you want to go share our 5 red flag video with a loved one to warn them, we have all the same slides that we're going to go about right now in that video too. So let's start off with these red flags, and as we go through them, let me know in the chat if you've encountered them. Confirm that you've seen them in the scams. Let me know. Let us know, and help us warn the community. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't yet. So let's get into it. Red flag number 1. I mentioned this briefly when we were talking about wrong number scams. They direct you to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue the conversation. Right? So scammers love third-party chat apps. It's easier for them to communicate with victims in other countries, and it offers more anonymity for the scammer to hide behind. So often they'll use more traditional methods to reach new victims, like a wrong number text message or a phone call or an email. But once communication is initiated and they're starting to build up trust with the victim, they'll redirect them to a third-party chat app like WhatsApp or Telegram. And that's the red flag, right? If you're talking to some stranger on the internet, they're trying to get you onto WhatsApp, something fishy is going on. And some examples of scams where it's actually part of the playbook to direct their victims to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp, and romance scams. Right? The scammers, they'll create fake dating profiles to lure in new victims. Then, once they have the matches on the website, they'll direct their victims to continue talking on WhatsApp. So that's a red flag, right? They're directing you to talk on WhatsApp. Wrong number scams that we just mentioned. We showed you some examples of those text messages. The next step in those examples would be for the scammer to ask the victim to continue talking on WhatsApp. Because eventually they want to lure the victim onto WhatsApp. It's easier for them to communicate. It's easier for them to hide who they are, right? They could send pictures. They could send videos. They could be more engaged with their victim and build trust easier. So they definitely want to direct their victims to WhatsApp and Telegram. Another example is investment scams. A lot of times they'll direct the victim to a Telegram or WhatsApp group that has other people in it. But they could be bots. Right? On Telegram, it'll be a group full of bots. And they make it appear like there's interest in this fake investment. But that's the red flag. Red flag number 1, they direct you to continue conversation on Telegram or WhatsApp. I see Dave mentioning in the chat here. In his case, they direct them to Telegram. Yep. And there's other ones too, but Telegram and WhatsApp are the 2 big ones right now. So that's red flag number 1. Watch out for it. It's about red flag number 2. And this one, almost every story, maybe most stories include this red flag in them. They request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, or depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. Right? All those forms of payment, those are red flags. Scammers love those forms of payment. Why do they love them? It's easier to move and transfer funds quickly. Right? When they trick victims into getting gift cards, the victims take pictures and send them. Boom. The scammer has them instantly. Cryptocurrency, they load them up, they deposit in a Bitcoin ATM, and the scammer has it immediately. Right? So it's much easier for scammers to transfer funds quickly when they're using these forms of payment. Gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency. And the other thing is it's harder for victims to recover that money after it's sent. A lot of victims didn't realize it. They think that their money's safe at the bank. The bank likes to say, oh, your money's insured with us, right? But that doesn't cover the victim being tricked into withdrawing the money themselves, right? So these victims, they're tricked, they're scammed into withdrawing the money or moving the money. And the bank's not going to reimburse that. The bank doesn't consider that fraud. That's not covered. That's not insured. So a lot of these victims, they never get the money back. And that's because they withdraw the money and they purchase gift cards or prepaid cards or cryptocurrency. They'll deposit in a Bitcoin ATM. All red flags. And that's part of the playbook in a lot of scams. And some scams where it's part of the playbook are IRS and Social Security scams. And we're going to talk about those later. But scammers impersonate government agencies. And they'll ask for payment in gift cards or cryptocurrency. Right? That's a red flag. And government agencies, they don't accept gift cards or cryptocurrency as payment. Right? So maybe in the future they'll accept cryptocurrency. But right now, they don't accept gift cards. They don't accept cryptocurrency. And if someone's impersonating or claiming to be from a government agency asking for those forms of payment, it's a scam. 100% it's a scam. Right? So it's a red flag. Romance scams. Right? Scammers will often request gift cards and cryptocurrency from an emotionally attached victim. This victim thinks that they're having some kind of long-distance relationship, and they think that they're just sending gift cards as a gift, as a form of affection. That's why the scammer's asking for it. But they're asking for it because it's instant, it's easy, and you ain't getting that money back. Cryptocurrency, right? They'll tell their victim who thinks they're in a relationship, deposit cryptocurrency into this account. It's for us. It's for our future together. But they're actually getting their money taken, and they don't have access to the account, and the scammer runs off with the cryptocurrency. Aren't getting that back. And then these bank impersonation scams, right? The victims are tricked to withdraw cash from the bank, and often they're told to purchase gift cards. As part of this whole fake, your money isn't safe narrative, you need to withdraw it and purchase gift cards, right? But that's a big red flag. A bank's never going to tell you to purchase gift cards. So that's red flag number 2. These unusual forms of payments: gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. Those words need to trigger, a stop sign in your mind. Like, wait a minute, something's off. So that's red flag number 2. I agree with you, Annie. They target the elderly. They target the most vulnerable. They target veterans too. It's crazy. Wow. And Liz says someone called their loved one, told them they had a warrant out for their arrest, made the person pull over and give a VIN number. Yeesh. I hope that turned out okay for them. There's got to be scams or something they do with the VIN number too. I'm not aware of those type of scams. I'm sure that's not some information you would want to get out to a scammer. Maybe I'll add that to the list of things to look up: VIN number scams. All right, let's keep on going with red flags here. And by the way, if you just joined the live stream, hit that thumbs up, give us a like, help us spread awareness about these scams. Do this live stream every week. I'm Jared with Scamware 101. You can join our free mailing list, scamaware101.com, and hit join mailing list. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check some of our videos out later. And, and before we go on red flag number 3, I haven't mentioned it yet. Also, you can follow us on social media. Take a minute and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. We have links to each right on our homepage here, but we're Scamaware 101 on all of them, right? So you find us on Facebook.com/Scamaware101, Threads.net/@Scamaware101, Instagram.com/Scamaware101. We're on X and Blue Sky too. So take a minute, give us a quick follow on any of those. We're trying to build up our Facebook followers. Last time I checked, we were only at 80 Facebook followers, which we really got to get that bumped up. Once we're up to 100, we could actually do this live stream on there too. So if you haven't followed us on Facebook yet, please take a moment to follow us, and we'll be able to do this live stream on there once we hit 100 followers. So that'd be cool. We appreciate that. Now let's get back to these red flags. Red flag number 3. They ask you to provide a code that was sent to your phone by text message. All right, so this is a big red flag, and there's a lot of common scams attached to this. The scammer could be trying to open an account using your phone number. They could be trying to log into an account that's linked to your phone number. They'd be trying to reset one of your passwords, right, to gain access to an account that's linked to your phone number. There's really no reason an individual should be claiming that they're sending codes to your phone. And we'll see this type of scam. We'll see this a lot on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. We see it on marketplace websites. A lot of times, the scammer, they'll impersonate a buyer or a seller, and they'll tell the victim that, I just want to verify your phone number. But what they're really doing is, behind the scenes, they're trying to get into one of their accounts. Or, in fact, let me tell you some of the scams that this is actually part of the playbook for. Right? So they could be trying to log into one of your accounts that's attached to your phone number. And by providing them the code, you're giving them access to the account. Right? They're trying to log in. Your phone gets a code. You give it to them. Now they're going to get in. Password reset requests. They were trying to reset your password and essentially get access to one of your accounts, right? So they try to reset your password. A code gets sent to your phone. If you provide that code to them, you're letting them reset your password. So they'll be telling you, hey, I just need to I confirm your phone number, right? But what they're really doing behind the scenes is they're trying to get into one of your accounts. And then the other example is these Google Voice scams, right? So scammers like to create fraudulent Google Voice accounts, and then they use these accounts to do their scams with, right? To call victims. So what they'll do is they'll create a Google Voice account linked to your phone number. And if you reply with that code, you're allowing them to link your phone number to their Google Voice account. So their calls might appear to come from you, and they're basically using a fraudulent Google Voice account that you unknowingly let them link to your phone. just by providing back a code to them. Right? So that's a big red flag. If someone's asking you to provide a code they sent to your phone, stop, don't trust it. Tell them to verify some other way. Right? You're not giving them a code that was sent to your phone. And by the way, if you get a phone call saying with a code too, it's the same idea. Right? If they tell you you're going to get a phone call with a code and then send me the code, it's just another way for them to do the exact same scam. Right? So don't provide codes being requested from individuals. So that's red flag number 3. Watch out for that. Hey, Annie. Yeah, I agree. We should be up to 1 million subscribers. We got a pretty decent amount on YouTube because we started out just kind of releasing our videos on YouTube. So we got a decent amount. I think we're up to over 1,600 now on YouTube, which is cool. But then we just started building up our Facebook presence, and it's taken a little while, but starting to build up. But yeah, I agree. Share the content. Give us a follow. Help us spread the word. I'm just doing this all just to get something good out there. It's not really funded, or we're not really making any money, over here. So we're gonna got a few ideas we're gonna start doing in the future, try to get some money coming in. But until then, we don't really have any advertising or anything like that, really. So right now, it's all just word of mouth, doing these live streams, releasing videos, and trying to get the word out there. So any help is definitely appreciated. Let's take a look at red flag number 4. They ask to connect your PC to assist or investigate an issue. All right, so scammers love to get on a victim's PC, and unfortunately, they're building this into the playbook for a lot of their scams. It's almost normal procedure for them to try to get onto your PC, and they'll give you a reason why. But they love to get on victims' PCs because they could steal your logins and passwords. A lot of if you have your passwords saved in Google Chrome, a lot of times they could extract them and they could get access if they're on your PC. They'll have access to your files. They could steal them or encrypt them. They could hold them for ransom or blackmail you if there's anything that you don't want in there for people to see, right? Private stuff. Attempt to access your online banking websites. A lot of times they'll get on the computer, and the victim doesn't realize that they're so malicious. They'll get onto the computer because they're pretending to be a tech support agent or pretending to be customer service. And once they're on the victim's computer, though, they'll usually convince the victim, hey, go into your bank accounts. Let me see if there's suspicious activity. And there's a whole bunch of things they could do once they're onto the computer. And they could also access the computer later. Once they're on, they install software, and the victim doesn't even have to be on the computer anymore. The scammer could access the PC anytime they want at that point. So red flag number 4, they ask to assist, connect your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Never let somebody you don't know onto your PC. Right? We should all have our own computer guy, our own tech support person they reach out to. Maybe it's the guy that owns a computer shop down the street, or maybe it's the person that you work with that does the tech support, or maybe it's even just that family member who's really good with computers. But you should only have those very few select people in mind to reach out to if you need help with your computer. Right? This way, in the case where you get a fake virus alert that pops up, right? We just talked about tech support scams earlier. These fake virus alerts, they'll try to trick you into calling a tech support number. That's a scammer. And the scammer asks to connect to your PC, right? So that's the red flag there. The scammer's asking to connect to your PC. But if you have your own computer people that you only let on your PC, you shouldn't even let a stranger on. When you got that fake virus alert, what should come to mind is, oh, let me call my computer person, right? It shouldn't even cross your mind to call a number that's asking you to. Just call your computer people, right? So everybody should have your go-to for that computer person. But yeah, and that goes back to this red flag. It's a red flag if someone you don't know is trying to connect your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Fake order scams, right? We're going to go over those in a little bit. But the fake order scams, they trick you into calling a fake tech support number. And that works the same way. You're actually talking to the scammer. The scammer's going to try to get onto your PC, under the ruse that they're trying to help. Fake fraudulent activity. This goes back to that bank impersonation. They call up, the scammer impersonates the bank, they impersonate an agency investigating fraud, and they say, let us access your PC and we'll check your accounts for suspicious activity. But that's part of the scam. That's what they're saying to get onto your PC. All right, so that's the red flag. They'll have a story, but don't let them onto your PC. Right, like Annie said, everybody needs a nerd. Exactly. And she means that in a non-offensive way, I'm sure. So that's red flag number 4. They're trying to connect to your PC to assist with an issue. Let's take a look at red flag number 5. And this is the last one of the 5 red flags. We have another video coming out soon with 5 more red flags, but for now, we only have these first 5 to talk about. Red flag number 5 was they request that you keep the matter confidential or secret. Right, you're going to see a lot of these examples in some more of the examples we show you. You'll see this pop up, the request for confidentiality or to keep something secret. It's common for scammers to ask for confidentiality. They don't want you to discuss the situation with other people, right? Because the more people you talk to, the more likely you'll be told it's a scam. So it makes sense for scammers to tell their victims, oh, you shouldn't tell anybody about this. You need to keep it confidential. They'll have fake stories to trick victims to stay quiet. And some examples of that, where this is part of the playbook, the grandparent scam. We're going to talk about this one more later. But the grandparent scam, where they call up your parents, your grandparents, they tell you your relatives in jail, right? And what they do is they say, but your relative's embarrassed that they've been arrested, and they've asked for you not to tell anybody. They asked you to keep it secret for now. So let's respect that, right? But that's the red flag. That's how they're trying to trick the victim into keeping it secret for now and not talking to anybody. Investment scams. They'll tell the victims there's an inside tip and not to tell anybody, or a price is just for you and not to share it with anybody, right? But the reality is they just don't want you telling anybody about the investment because they might reveal to you it's a scam. Inheritance scams. They mail letters impersonating law offices regarding an inheritance. The letter requests confidentiality. We actually have a letter we're going to show you later on in this live stream. That's an example of that, where they request confidentiality in it twice. And yes, I said letter, good old-fashioned U.S. Postal Service letter, because we are being targeted that way still. And then another example of the red flag, the request for confidentiality, is that fake fraudulent activity that we keep talking about. When they impersonate the bank, they call you up, they say they're investigating fraud or investigating suspicious activity. And what they do is they say, you can't tell anybody about this because it could put the investigation at risk. And they might even threaten the person and say, and then you'll be in trouble for impeding an investigation or interfering with the investigation. So that's their way of trying to tell the victim not to tell anybody and to keep it secret. But that's the red flag. All right, so that's red flag number 5. They ask you to keep it confidential or secret. Happens a lot in scams. We see it all the time. Be aware of it. All right, so that's 5 red flags that indicate you're talking to a scammer. I'll summarize the 5 red flags again real quick for anybody that maybe missed the beginning of it. We'll summarize them, those red flags. But I see more viewers. Hey, hit that thumbs up. It's good to see you. Hit that thumbs up. Give us a like. Say hi in the chat. We're spreading awareness about scams here, and we hope we'll tell you something new. Give you something to let your friends and family know about, or at least remind you about some things to be aware of. So hopefully you can protect yourself and protect your loved ones from scams. I see Megan in the chat. Cool. Good to see you, Megan, as always. Keep up the efforts. Awareness is key. That's right. Awesome. We got a lot of people on tonight. It's good to see everybody. Definitely stay on the chat. If it's your first time here, let me know how you found us. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. Get our channel to subscribe. We release a lot of good videos. A lot of scams we're talking about tonight we have videos about too. So any of the scams we go over, you could probably go find a video we did and share that with your loved ones. But we're just wrapping up the 5 red flags that indicate you're talking to a scammer. And if you missed that portion, the 5 red flags were, they direct you to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue the conversation. It's always a red flag. Scammers love to use third-party chat apps. It's easier to scam you when they're an ocean away. So watch out for any requests to continue a conversation on Telegram or WhatsApp. Red flag number 2 was they request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, or depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. All right. Those unusual forms of payments, always a red flag. Scammers love getting paid that way. It's easier for them to get the money, and it's harder for the victim to retrieve it once it's sent. So always watch out for those unusual forms of payment. Gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, telling you to go to Bitcoin ATM, all red flags, and should flash a stop sign in your head. Red flag number 3. They ask you to provide a code that was sent to your phone via text message. It's an indicator of a very common scam, right? There's no reason an individual should be asking you to send a code that they sent to your phone back to them. They're probably trying to get into one of your accounts or create an account that's linked to your phone, right? So if an individual asks you to send them a code back that they're sending to you, don't trust it, don't do it. It's a red flag. Red flag number 4, they ask to connect to your PC to assist or investigate with an issue. Very common. We went over that in the tech support scams examples we were given. We're going to go over that in a few more examples of different scams that we have coming up. But it's always a red flag when someone asks to connect to your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Even if you called them, but you don't know who they are, right? You get some pop-up and you call it for help. Don't let strangers onto your PC. It's a very common scam. Only let trusted people into your PC. And like Annie said, everybody needs a nerd. All right. And red flag number 5. They request that you keep the matter confidential or secret. Always a big red flag. Scammers don't want you talking to people. The more people you talk to, the more likely you are to be told it's a scam. Right? So if someone's asking you to keep the matter confidential, keep it secret, be suspicious. It should be a red flag, and maybe you should actually go and talk to somebody and get a second opinion. So that's 5 red flags that you could be dealing with a scammer, and most likely are. Let me know if you encounter those red flags in the chat. Give us a thumbs up. Let's go check the chat here, see how it's going. Awesome. Got a lot of people on. Excellent. Very good. So at this point, we usually take a quick 5-minute coffee break to refill my travel mug. My Scamware 101 travel mugs, by the way, they're available on our YouTube channel. We have a store on the YouTube channel, and you could got a few other things there, water bottles, mouse pads, things like that, if you want to scoop up some Scamware 101 merchandise. I picked all items that you would have on your desk. This way, I envision it, you have your Scamware 101 mug on your desk. You're about ready to fall for a scam, and then you look down at your mug and you see Scamware, and you remember, oh wait, don't fall for that scam, right? That's why I got mouse pads. You look down at the mouse pads, reminder, scammers are they're out there, they're targeting you. All right, so I tried to put it on items. Dave, I just got some cheap Keurig coffee pods that I've been using lately. I drink it black, though. I do drink it black. All right. Yeah, Annie, we hear about those red flags when we read the victim's stories and we hear about the victim's stories. A lot of times they run into one of those red flags. If they were just aware of one of those, it could have made all the difference. And the other detail, I'm not sure if I'm going to mention it again, just to keep on reminding people or anybody new that's come here. Scammers can manipulate what the caller ID shows, right? So a lot of these scams we're discussing, when they're impersonating the bank, for example, the caller ID will show the bank's phone number, even though it's a scammer, right? So a lot of these victims, they fall for it because they see the bank's phone number and they think they could trust it, right? So that's an important thing to be aware of too. But yeah, the red flags, they always, a lot of those always occur, especially the unusual forms of payment, right? It seems to be one of those unusual forms of payment, or they're doing cash now. They're actually having couriers come pick up cash, all right? But when they're not doing that, most of the time it's gift cards, Bitcoin. So that's a big red flag when you get to that point. All right, in a minute, I'm going to go refill my coffee mug here. And we got a lot more common scams coming up, though. We're going to go over at 7:10. So in about 7 more minutes, we're going to go into our next batch of scams. And this is actually some of my favorite group of scams. So we've got the fake order scam coming up, where I have examples of phone calls to play for you. I have text messages to show you. And we have a victim story about actually fell for an email version of that scam, these fake order scams. Grandparent scams. I actually have a video to show you of a scammer. His webcam got hacked. And we actually have a video of him performing one of these scams. So we got the grandparent scam coming up, undeliverable package scams. We're going to show you some examples of those text messages and the email version of that. And then we have the fake retail website scam coming up. So always got to watch out for those fake retail websites and some gift card received scams. So lots more scam examples coming up to show you and go over. It's all good stuff. So stick around. We're going to take a quick 5-minute coffee break. All right, 5-minute coffee break. Back momentarily. All right, we got a refilled coffee cup. Checking out the chat here. Cool. A couple people still purchase soon. Yeah, feel free. Got some more stuff coming in the future too. We got some courses coming out, and that's when it's gonna get real good. Out of mugs and stuff, just there to maybe make a buck or two. It'll be nice. The good stuff is the courses, though. All right, we're gonna get started on the second portion of our live stream here. Went over a lot of good stuff on the first portion of the live stream. A lot of common scams. Went over 5 red flags to watch out for that indicate you're dealing with a scammer. If you're just joining the live stream, welcome. We do this live stream every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Go over about 20 different types of scams and show you all sorts of examples, text message examples, email examples, play some phone call recordings, all different variations of scams to watch out for. All common scams that are circulating right now, because awareness is key. And, the idea is we show you the examples, we let you know that it's happening, and hopefully when you're the target, you're able to recognize that before becoming a victim, right? So that's our goal here, to spread awareness and get the word out there about these scams. So hit that thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. And we're going to continue the live stream and go into some more common scams here. Starting with a fake order scam. So these fake order scams, sometimes known as fake purchase scams, victims receive a fake notification that an order was made under their account. When the victim calls to dispute the fake order, a scammer impersonates customer support and attempts to steal their personal or financial information. Right, so these fake order scams, we're actually being targeted by these from all directions. And I mentioned it a little earlier. We're receiving text message versions of this scam. We're receiving phone call versions of this scam. And we're receiving email versions of this scam. And their intent and their purpose is just to be a fake order notification that tricks the victim into calling to dispute it. Right? So you'll get a text message that says, hey, an order was placed. If you didn't place this order, call this number to dispute it. You'll get an email that says, hey, an order was placed. If you didn't place this order, call this number. Right? You'll get a phone call. Hey, an order was placed. If you didn't, press 1 to talk to somebody. Right? It's known as a fake order notification. So once you hit 1 to talk to somebody, or if you call back that number, you're actually going to be talking to a scammer. And that's how this works. And I have a few examples for you. One of the most common versions of this scam circulating right now, and people keep on reporting this one to me, or one very close to this, are these text messages that they look like they're from Apple. And they say, we have noticed that your Apple iCloud ID was recently used at the Apple Store for $143 paid by Apple Pay pre-authorization. Right. And basically the text message says, goes through more suspicious sign in, yada, yada, yada. And at the end it says, call this number immediately to cancel this charge. Right? The whole idea is that you get this message that says your $143 payment was made. You know you didn't make that payment. If you call that number, though, you're going to be connected to a scammer. If you call that number to dispute it, like it instructs you, it's going to be a scammer. And that's how the text message version of this works. And the thing that's tricky about these fake order notifications is they could literally just insert any product or any vendor, right? Any retailer. And we have some more examples of that and some phone call versions of this that we're going to play for you right now. So that was a text message version of this, the common version where you get a message, it says you've made a payment on your Apple and the call number to dispute it, right? Well, what about the phone call version? Well, we got 2 robocalls that are currently circulating that are part of a fake order scam. The first one we play you is going to be impersonates Amazon and claims a MacBook Pro was purchased. Right? And the idea is to trick the victim into pressing 1 to dispute the fake order. And then the second one we play is going to be one that impersonates Walmart, and it says a PlayStation was purchased. So these are robocalls. They're all circulating right now. They're pretty recent. And let's take a listen to the first one here.
This call is to authorize the payment of $1,499 for the recent order of Apple MacBook Pro on your Amazon account. If you do not authorize this payment, please press 1 to speak to our customer support representative.
Right, so that's an example of a fake order notification, a phone call. Right, you got this robocall. It claims that a MacBook Pro was purchased under your Amazon account, and then it says press 1 to dispute this purchase. Right, if you press 1, you're actually going to get connected to a scammer. Let's go into another example. Here's a second example. It's a robocall that's going out and impersonates Walmart, and the same idea. It says a PlayStation was purchased.
We are trying to contact you concerning an unverified purchase of PlayStation 5 Special Edition bundled with Pulse 3D headset being ordered from your Walmart account for for an amount of $859.50. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel, please press 1 or return our call on same number at your earliest convenience.
So that's another example of robocall that's going around. And you see how it ended the robocall, say, or call this number, at your convenience, right? Call this number. It didn't give you a number to call, just call this number, especially look at the screen. That's a red flag. It's a scam, right? If they don't actually leave a phone number, if they're saying call the number that's shown on your call, it's a scam. Right, so that was one indicator. But anyway, this is the second example of a fake order notification scam. It said that it was with Walmart. It said that PlayStation was purchased, and the press 1 to dispute or callback number. Right. So we saw a text message version of this scam. We listened to 2 robocall versions of this scam. Right. It was 3 different products, 3 different vendors that they impersonate. Right. They can literally fill it in with anything. So it's important to be aware of how this scam works. This way, when you get that phone call that, fill in retailer here, fill in product here, it shouldn't make a difference. It's just still clicking your head, oh, wait a minute, this could be a fake order scam, And then what you do is you go log into your actual account. You go check your actual account. The one that impersonates Amazon, go check your actual Amazon account, see if there's anything in there. The one that impersonated Apple, go check your actual Apple account, see if anything's going on in there. But don't click numbers or don't click links. Don't call the phone numbers in those messages. All right, be aware that they could be fake order or fake purchase scams. And again, the reason why this one's getting so many people, I mentioned it earlier, is 1, you're getting targeted by text message, you're getting targeted by phone, but you're also being targeted by email. And we have this victim's story about what happened to her. So let me read about, and it's fascinating because it gives you a peek behind the scenes too, a little bit more of what's going on. But this was August 2nd. It's an news article from August 2nd last year. 23-year-old Lincoln woman reported losing $4,100 after falling victim to an identity fraud scam in July. The scam began on July 17th with an email claiming she had purchased an iPhone. Right? That's the fake order notification. She got an email claiming she purchased an iPhone. Right? The woman called the number provided in the email to dispute the purchase and was told she had multiple open accounts in her name across various states. Right? So she gets a fake order notification. She calls the phone number in that email to dispute the fake order. Right? She's connected with a scammer. Now she's talking to a scammer, and now they can do they go into their whole scam narrative and start scamming the victim. But see how the fake order notification works? Right? They pull in the victim with one of those, a fake order notification. And it could come from any direction. Text message, phone, email. Right? So you need to be suspicious of notifications like that. So what I find fascinating about this article, though, is it then goes to give us more details about what happened afterwards. So this is what happened afterwards. So she calls the scammers. She thinks she's calling to dispute, an iPhone purchase. Right? She gets told someone is using her identity. According to police, scammers then connected the woman to a person posing as a CIA agent who instructed her to withdraw $3,600 from her bank account. The next day, she was directed to use the money to purchase Walmart gift cards and send photos and receipts. Additionally, the woman sent another $500 cash card to the scammers. Right? So there's a couple of things that stick out here in this story. And, the gift cards, purchasing gift cards is the one thing, right? We just talked about that on the red flags. And that's so, again, as we talk about more victim stories, you'll see these red flags pop up. But the gift cards right there is a huge red flag. Right? But then they use the whole fake order notification, right? So if you're aware of a fake order notification scam, now you should be suspicious of situations like this. Then they go into the narrative that her identity has been stolen, right? Her money's not safe at the bank. Someone stole her identity, someone has access to her bank account, and they tell her she needs to withdraw the money. Right? That's a common narrative. That's a whole bank impersonation, investigating fraud narrative that these scammers will follow. Right? It's very common. That's how they trick victims into withdrawing their money. They make the victims think their money's not safe and they need to withdraw it. But then there came that red flag, right? Where the gift card. Then they tell her to go purchase gift cards. Red flag, right? So anyway, that's the victim story who fell for a email version of these fake order scams. So there's your example of an email version. We went over the example of the text message version. We went over the 2 robocalls that you might receive. right? The fake order robocalls. And then there's a version of the email, from that victim's story. So watch out for these fake order scams. Again, a real common text message one that's going around right now, pretty recent, is this one that claims to be from the Apple Store. Right? And they'll even, at the bottom of it, they'll even have a link that's legit, like a link that actually goes to Apple and all that, right? But they're trying to get you to call the number. That's the scam. They're trying to scare you, like, oh, you're gonna be charged, but you better call this number, So be suspicious. And I've seen different versions of this text message going around, but a couple different versions of ones that say the Apple Store. So just be aware of that. Fake order scams or fake purchase scams, sometimes they're known as. How we all doing out there? So we still got some people watching. Good to see you all. Some new viewers in both streams. We got the wide stream one and a vertical one going. So good to see the new viewers. Say hi in the chat. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you're watching. We do this live stream every week, every Thursday. We go over about 20 different types of scams to be aware of. Common scams you can protect yourself and your loved ones from. Go examples. Phone calls, emails, text messages. All good stuff to be aware of when it comes to these scams. They're all circulating now. Because all the examples we're showing you are pretty recent. Most of them are at least less than a year old, right? I think there's probably a few here and there that are older, but the bulk of them are less than a year old. Some are just from the recent months. There's all stuff currently circulating, all scams that people are being targeted with. And these are scams that target individuals. These are the scams I focus on most, are the scams that target individuals. Right? There's plenty of resources for companies out there as far as the scams they're being targeted with. Right? And in some cases they get targeted with similar scams. But the scam we're about ready to talk about now, like a grandparent scam, for example. These are scams that target individuals. And individuals kind of get left out of the loop when it comes to training and awareness, and they don't have as many options as companies do, where the employers are getting trained on employee-based scams. So what we're trying to focus on here at Scamware 101 is awareness for individuals. Scams targeting ordinary people. So you can protect yourself, protect your loved ones, right? Just like the companies are protecting their stuff with all the scams that are targeting them. It's up to individuals. We need to protect ourselves too. Scams that are targeting us. So anyway, the next scam that we're going to go over, welcome to the live stream, by the way, if you're just joining us, is a grandparent scam. And this is one of my most hated scams. And we should all be angry about this scam because it takes advantage of our loved ones, right? It targets our parents and our grandparents specifically. And that's why it's called a grandparent scam, because it targets parents and grandparents. And they use us as their kids as bait. And what I mean by that is the scammers will impersonate a distressed relative claiming to be in jail and needing financial help, right? Victims, usually seniors, act quickly to assist their loved ones. The scammers will often impersonate law enforcement, court personnel, and lawyers to extract even more money from the victim. So I'm going to explain this real quick, but then I'm actually going to show you a recording, because we have this great recording from a scam baiter that was actually able to hack into one of these scammers' webcams. And we actually have a recording of a scammer performing one of these grandparent scams. And before we jump into that and I show it to you, I just want to preface it real quick with what you're about to see. So the way these grandparent scams work is they have openers. Those are scammers who initially call the victims. Excuse me one sec. There we go. Sorry. All right, the openers are the ones calling the victims initially, and they're the ones that give them the story of their relative being in distress and needing help, and they'll even impersonate the relative. They'll impersonate the relative, and they'll impersonate a law enforcement officer. Sounds wild, but we're about ready to see it on the video that I'm going to show you momentarily. And basically what this opener does is they're in charge of telling the whole story to the victim, and then eventually they tell the victim, now stand by, because we're going to call you back. And that's when the closers, the other scammers, start calling the victim back. And those closers, they impersonate law enforcement, court personnel, lawyers. They just jump from one identity to the next identity, taking as much as they can from your loved one, from your parents, from your grandparents, whoever that they've gotten on the phone. And again, they're using you as bait. They're telling them that you're in trouble and you need the assistance, right? And again, it sounds, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how could that be made believable? But we're about ready to watch a video right now of an opener and how they do what they do, right? So watch this video, and there you go. We'll talk about it afterwards. It's fascinating, though. Wait till you see this.
Oh, Mom, I had a car accident.
Huh?
I had a car accident, Mom.
Is this Linda?
It's me, Linda.
Where are you?
I got a car accident.
What happened?
I'm gonna put the officer on. I got arrested.
You got arrested?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, are you Linda's mom?
Yes.
What I'm gonna need you to do is grab a pen and paper and write down Linda's case number, ma'am. I need you to hurry up, please, ma'am.
Case number?
It's the number 2.
2?
The letter B as in boy. Can you read that back to me?
2B.
Now, I'm gonna read what's going on, ma'am, okay?
Okay.
Linda was involved in a car accident. It was stated in the police report. She admitted that was her fault. While she was driving, she was using her phone. That's what caused the accident, ma'am, okay?
Oh, man.
The woman that was driving the other vehicle was 7 months pregnant. We had to rush her into the nearby hospital. She might lose her baby.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, we actually confiscated her cell phone for legal evidence, so she cannot receive or cannot make calls. This is going to be her only last call. Are you with me, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Now, she actually wrote a note down here saying that she didn't want anyone to know about this. Let's honor her wish for right now because it's too much for her right now. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
What I'm going to need you to do, ma'am, is stay by the phone and wait for the lawyer to call, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye, ma'am.
All right, bye.
All right, so you see that? That was an actual video of a scammer who's doing one of these grandparent scams. He was located in the Dominican Republic, and he was actually recorded by someone that was able to hack into his computer and record that. I think the guy's name on YouTube was actually Scam Sandwich. He was the guy that was able to get in there and actually record that scammer. So it's a fascinating video to see of him actually doing the grandparent scam, how he actually calls the person, you hear her answer, and he immediately impersonates the loved one in distress, right? And he makes it sound like he's crying. So it's hard for a loved one to tell. Like, it's real quick, it just sounds like the loved one's crying, they say they need help, right? And then they hand over the phone, right? The loved one barely has any time to recognize it's not their child, okay? Then they hand over the phone, the guy, then he switches over immediately and he starts impersonating the police. Okay, so he impersonates the loved one and immediately starts impersonating the police. And it's fascinating to watch him do that because there's a few things to note, right? First of all, you start hearing the police chatter in the background. He's got the police radios going to make it sound more believable, right? And then he says that he's confiscated your loved one's phone, right? And he says that so you don't try to call them, right? Your loved one's not there. They haven't been they're not locked up, but he just says, I've confiscated your loved one's phone. All right, so let's just try to convince them not to call. And then there was that request for secrecy where he says she's embarrassed about the situation and asks for you not to tell anybody, right? That's that request for secrecy that we talked about, that red flag. So, but it's a very convincing narrative. And you can see how he plays both parts when he does the whole crying and makes it sound like a loved one in distress. So again, this was an actual scammer in the Dominican Republic, and this was the opener, right, that we talked about. I don't have a video of the closers, but that's why I ended with him saying, now stand by and we'll be reaching out to you. That's when the closers take over and they start impersonating every agency after agency after agency to extract everything that the victim has, right? First they'll impersonate the police, then they'll impersonate court personnel, right? Then they'll impersonate lawyers, right? So that's how a grandparent scam works. And again, we should all be angry about this type of scam because it targets elders, it targets, our grandparents. It does take it certainly takes advantage of the elderly and older folks, So as a grandparent scammer, he was actually so he was in the Dominican Republic, and what's interesting, we have a news article from August as well, and I don't know if this is the same scammer, but this is an interesting news article about grandparent scams, and it mentions these this scammer group from the Dominican Republic that got busted and sent to the U.S. So basically, it says that, according to the indictment, the conspirators engaged in a long-running grandparent or family in need of bail scam against hundreds of seniors across the United States, including in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. It said that he led a network of call centers, right? Because again, you're dealing with these scammers in call centers. You know, this is their job, to call people all day and answer phones all day and scam people. So this guy was managing one of these call centers, at least one of the people mentioned in this filing. And what they did is, detailed in court filings, members of the conspiracy referred to as openers, right? And that's who we just watched on that video, was an opener. They called elderly victims of the United States and impersonated the victims' grandchildren, children, or other close relatives. The call centers used technology to make it appear that the calls were coming from inside the United States. Typically, the victim was told that their grandchild had been in a car accident and was arrested in connection with an accident and needed help. That's exactly what we just watched happen, right? That was a narrative that this opener, that video that we just watched of the opener, that's the exact narrative he followed. Once openers tricked victims into believing their loved ones were in dire trouble, others working at the call centers, known as closers, allegedly impersonated defense attorneys, police officers, or court personnel and convinced victims to provide thousands of dollars in cash to help their loved ones. All right, so it's fascinating, right? They got openers, they got closers, you got call centers full of people that are trained and that do this for a living. And this was a group that was in the Dominican Republic. I think it said it was a total of 11 people being charged in this group. And this is one of the scams that they were running. So, but just because this scam was coming out of the Dominican Republic, that doesn't mean they're all there, right? I think about a month or so ago, there was a report about a group in Canada that was running a grandparent scam. So, they're all over the place, these scammers. So that's a grandparent scam. Watch out for them. They target the elderly, man. The older, the better. As far as they're concerned, they don't care. The older they are, then the easier it is for them to trick them and steal their money. So make sure your loved ones are aware of this one, especially your parents, your grandparents. All right, got a lot more scams coming up. See some more viewers. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. See some good chat. Ask about the laws about scamming and yep, all the overseas. Yeah, a lot of scammers outside the countries. You know, being in Canada is rare because Canada and the U.S. cooperate, right? But the majority of these scammers are in areas that don't cooperate. Like there's a lot in China. We're going to talk about some. Actually, we're going to mention these Chinese scammers on the next scam we're talking about. These undeliverable package scams. But yeah, a lot of times they're located in countries that won't cooperate. There's that whole thing going on in Myanmar where they actually have like people trafficked and running scams who are victims and trafficked over there and being held, which is scary. And you got all the Indian scammers, the call centers in India, which are just in certain areas of India, from what I understand, are just kind of like corrupt. You know, law enforcement doesn't care, they won't do anything, they're kind of all corrupt or whatever in the areas. At least that's my understanding. And then you got Africa. There's you know, Nigeria, Africa, all those areas. They're all over the world. And of course, there's scammers at home too, but they can only go so long until they get caught. It's scammers outside in other countries that it's easier for them to hide. Excuse me. All right. How are y'all doing out there? Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Yeah, John says he's got an elderly cousin that he always has to make sure is watching out for these scams. And hey, that's important. You got these elderly relatives. You know? Gotta watch out for them. But, fun fact, not to pick on the elderly. The recent report from the FTC, every year they release a scam report and fraud report. And it actually turned out that younger folks, I guess you could say 30s and 40s maybe, but younger folks actually get scammed more than seniors do. So younger folks, middle-aged folks, they're falling for more scams. The difference is the seniors are losing more money because they have more money to lose, right? So, but middle-aged folks, younger folks, they're falling for scams just as much as the older folks are. So, support for everybody to be aware. You know, it takes a village, especially when it comes to scam awareness. It really does. So that's a good thing that John makes sure his elderly cousin is taken care of, and always watching out for these scams. And for anybody else that's got an elderly cousin or other relative, good thing to watch out for them. On that note, we're going to talk about undeliverable package scams, which are a great thing, a great type of scam to make sure your elderly friends are aware of as the holidays start approaching. Many of you probably got targeted by this type of scam over the last holiday season over here, right? These always pick up during November, December, for Christmas, and especially for Black Friday. And some examples I'm going to show you are actually from Black Friday, which you'll see shortly. But basically, these undeliverable package scams, victims receive a fake notification about an undeliverable package and are asked to click on a link to resolve it. The link opens a fake website impersonating UPS, FedEx, or USPS. Any personal or financial details provided by the victim are stolen by the scammers. There never was a package. All right, and that's known as an undeliverable package scam. And most commonly, these come in as a text message. And there's been email versions too. I'll show you the email versions later. But first, let me show you some of these text message versions that you might receive. So here's one that says from USPS. This is an older example. It's very immature. It's got spelling errors and things in it. But due to an invalid address, you have a package that needs to be delivered. But it has been suspended due to an incorrect delivery address. If you do not update your address before 24 hours, your package will be returned to sender. To delivery your package, please update your address by click the link below. And it's got some fake link to click or whatever. This one is a great example of how grammar and spelling and you could tell that this isn't a real text message. It's not a legit text message. So unfortunately, you can't count on that red flag as much these days, but it's a good example of, if you do get something with spelling errors like this, grammar errors, regardless of what type of text message it is, be suspicious. It's not professional, and it's probably a scammer. In this case, it's an example of one that's doing an undeliverable package scam. They're telling me I have a package, it can't be delivered, and it's trying to get me to go to a website to pay for it that redelivered. Here's another example. This one, the USPS package has arrived at the warehouse and cannot be delivered due to incomplete address information. Please confirm your address in the link within 12 hours. And it's got the link to the fake website. It's going to try to steal your personal details, your financial details. And here's that instruction, that red flag we talked about earlier, where it says, please reply yes, then exit and reopen. There's that instruction you see on a lot of these scam text messages. So if you see that, it's a big red flag too. Scammers, they want you to reply yes, because then they know, it's an active number, you're reading, you're replying. And also, it'll activate their malicious links, right? So they'll be able to send you more messages, the links will be clickable, and so it's better not to interact at all with these types of scam text messages. Let's look at a couple more examples of these undeliverable package text messages. Here's one that was sent to me. It was actually a group text message, and they renamed it to USPS to make it seem like, to make it stick out and seem more legit, I guess. And it says, since the package does not have a house number, the package transportation is interrupted. Please update, and it's got a link to click. There's a couple more examples. These examples actually had files attached. All right, so this first one had an HTML file attached, and they make it look legit, like it's got the USPS logo on it. Dear customer, your package has arrived at the distribution facility, but we are unable to deliver it due to incomplete address information. Please click on the HTML file above to update your address. All right, but don't, which is, by the way, never open attachments. Never open attachments from unsolicited communications, right? You get a random text message like this, it's got attachment. Don't open it. especially if it's HTML. Here's an example. That's same deal, except it has PDF attached. So they're sending out text messages with PDFs attached, with HTMLs attached, with links right in the message itself. And they claim a package was undeliverable. And they'll impersonate, just because I'm showing you examples of USPS, that doesn't mean it's just happening with USPS. It's happening for any delivery service. You'll see FedEx examples, you'll see UPS examples, you'll see USPS examples, you'll see DHL examples, and any delivery service. I'm sure if any of you from overseas, which by the way, if you are, say hi, let me know from where you are overseas. But even overseas, whatever delivery services you have over there, these scammers will impersonate. So that's known as an undeliverable package scam. They reach out to you, you get random text message claiming a package is undeliverable, and it tries to trick you into stealing your information. What happens if you click a link? Well, it'll take you to a website like this. Has the United States Postal Service logo, and it asks you $3 for redelivery. It says, enter new payment method to resend your package. Redelivery will cost $3. So they're trying to get you to pay $3, but it's not. They're actually going to steal your whatever info you enter. They're going to steal. There's no package. Nothing's going to get delivered, but anything you enter into these boxes, the scammers are going to steal. And they'll do a lot worse than just charge $3. Here's another example of what the website might look like. Logo, colors, right? This is very convincing. This is a convincing looking website. This is a phone version. This is the screens are side by side here if you keep scrolling, but see, it's got the shipping address, payment method, any info you put in there, they're going to steal. They'll have your, so that means they'd have your address, your full name, they have all your credit card details. And it's a legit looking website. And these are the type of websites that scammers create, and then they send those text messages trying to get you here. So that's an undeliverable package scam. And I do have a story I'd like to share about this undeliverable package scam. It's a fun one. And it came out when all these undeliverable package scams are happening last November, December. Or in this case, August. So I do start a little early. So it was a Wired news article. It came out in August 2024. And I love this story because basically what happened was a woman fell for this, a guy's wife. But I guess this guy, the husband, was good with tech, and he decided to hack and infiltrate the group that was sending out these scam text messages. So he actually hacked and got into the systems that these undeliverable package scammers, the ones sending out these text messages, he actually got a peek behind the scenes to see what was going on because he hacked in there. All because they tricked his wife. So he's like, so I think that's a great story. But he found out some interesting things, right? So first of all, this was that Chinese-based, is a triad network. Right? It's Chinese-based, Chinese-speaking group behind, at least in his case, these undeliverable package text messages. Who knows? There's probably other groups too, but in his case, it was this Chinese group that was doing it. And they were sending out 100,000 scam text messages per day globally, right? So that gives you an idea what these scam groups are capable of. 100,000 scam text messages per day. Undeliverable package, undeliverable package, undeliverable package, right? So, and this was back in August last year. So they could probably do a lot more now. Right? So that's the first thing that he found that this article mentions. Right? It mentions that it was a Chinese language group behind the campaign. And some other things we found out was, in total, they had 438,669 victim credit cards, right? So almost 500,000 credit cards that these scammers that were sending out these undeliverable package scam text messages, they had almost 500,000 credit cards on file from victims that fell for it. He said many people entered multiple cards. He said they had more than 50,000 email addresses were logged. And some of them, 20 military or government email domains, he said. So, sounds like military and government people were falling for a scam too. But 100,000 text messages a day. And again, almost 500,000 credit cards. This is an older article. This is from late last year, but technology advances a lot in 6 months. So if they were sending out that many before, they're probably sending out twice as many find it 6 months later. So anyway, I do like this article because the husband did kind of get a little revenge. He was able to hack in. He did work with USPS and the victims, and said to help warn victims. He worked with the USPS investigators and banks. So there's some good news out of it, and it gave us a peek behind the scenes, right? 100,000 text messages a day. Those undeliverable package scammers, and that's just one group. That's just this one Chinese language group. Again, who knows how many other groups are behind it, right? So interesting article, interesting info about the undeliverable package scams that were circulating towards the end of last year, and now they're still going around, and I'm sure we'll be picking up soon in the next couple months. Well, we're only a couple months away from August again, right? So start hitting the fire alarm now. Start letting people know now, right? Watch out for these undeliverable package scams. And so that version was actually the text message version, right? So I showed you a bunch of examples of those text messages that come in. But there's also an email version of that to be aware of. I have some examples of that too. And we were actually the first one to report about the email version of this one when it started circulating last holiday season. And you see on the screen some examples of the emails. Right, these are dated November 16th and November 22nd last year. Right, so it started coming in towards the end of the year. And they impersonate FedEx and UPS. Right, so that's what I mentioned before. Just because I was showing you examples of the Postal Service text messages, here's examples that are impersonating FedEx and UPS. And these came in during Black Friday and the holiday season and all that, right? And this says, "We're sorry, your package appears to be missing. We understand how frustrating this could be, and we're actively investigating what happened to ensure we provide you with best possible resolution." But then it says, "We value your time and want to make things right. As an apology, we'd like to offer you a compensation product up to $100 in value." And it says, "Get your compensation now." Again, they make it look like it's from UPS. And this was received November 22nd. A week earlier, on November 16th, we got this one from FedEx. It's the same thing. It's just got the FedEx logo. "We're sorry, your package appears to be delayed. We regret to inform you that there's been an issue with the delivery of your recent FedEx shipment. We understand how frustrating this could be. We're actively investigating what happened to ensure we provide you with the best possible resolution. As an apology, we'd like to offer you a compensation product up to $100 in value." And it's got the button, "Get your compensation now." So, obviously identical scams. They just switch out FedEx, UPS, and they arrived a week apart from each other, give or take 6 days. 6 days apart. November 16th, November 22nd. So, it's an interesting twist that they put. Instead of saying your package needs to be redelivered and ask you to pay for that, what they do is actually linking you to a fake retail website, which is actually the next scam we're going to talk about. So, in that scam, bear with me 1 sec. I'm going to use the examples of where this links to. When you click "Get your compensation product," it links to fake retail websites. They're actually designed around the holiday. They were there with all these fake offers for Black Friday. So if you clicked on "Get your compensation now," which, by the way, just going back to these undeliverable package warnings, these scams, right? FedEx, UPS, none of them, they don't offer gifts to make up for delayed packages, right? Just keep that in mind too. This is all a scam. They don't offer gifts because your package was delayed. It'd be nice if they did, but they don't. So this is a scam. If you ever get an email like this, you don't even have to click the link. That you don't even have to question. Just delete the email, get rid of it. Know that this is a scam. FedEx, UPS, they don't offer compensation, random compensation offers like this. So be aware of that this holiday season as you start seeing these undeliverable package scams start coming in. And they don't send you text messages like the ones I showed you earlier either. You could opt in if you want updates about a specific package, but you don't get text messages for packages that are randomly supposedly being sent to you. So, but anyway, so be aware of those undeliverable package scams, especially these email ones that flew under the radar last season, but I'm sure going to be around again this season soon. What's interesting about that scam is the second version of it. It evolves into a fake retail website scam, right? It evolves into a website that offers products that are too good to be true and deals that are too good to be true. Basically, these fake retail website scams, scammers create fake websites to sell products that are never delivered. Victims are lured in by unbeatable deals and lose money once they pay. These scams often target holiday shoppers or those seeking trending items. Right? And here's an example of a fake retail website page. And this is one of the compensation products that were offered in the last scam. So remember where the undeliverable package scam where it said click here for a compensation product? This is actually a screenshot of where one of the products it offered. And they offered wireless headphones. But it's also an example of a fake retail website. See, I have the fake banner across the top, Black Friday sale. And you can be delivered to these fake retail websites in many different ways. You know, the first example I showed you was that fake email that impersonates FedEx and UPS, right? But it could be any other type of fraudulent email. One could just say it'd be a fake customer appreciation email or fake holiday offer email, right? And it claims you could get this $175 pair of wireless headphones, just pay for shipping. That's what the scam is. You'll never get the product, and they'll steal whatever you enter, whatever payment information you enter. Which, by the way, that was a scam of the second undeliverable package version, right? The email scam where they say, where they offer you a product. This is how eventually they steal your details. They offer you a product, and you end up on this page, and they trick you into thinking, okay, I can get this $175 pair of headphones for $8 shipping. And that's a scam. Here's another page that was offering another product. It was offering a portable heater. Same value, $175, but you get it, just pay $8.69 with shipping. The same Black Friday banner up there. But again, this is a fake website set by scammers. It's built specifically just to steal any information you enter, any payment information. And a lot of times the red flag is the offer where they say just pay for shipping. If they're offering you a product that they claim is $100, $200, just pay for shipping, be suspicious. You know, do some research, look into it, see if other people ever got anything off the sites. Here's another example, the third example of the page. And again, all three of those were offered as part of that compensation package email in the last scam. But they're good examples of fake retail websites because you could end up here in many different ways. You could be browsing Facebook and you see an ad that says, get your earbuds now. $175 value, just pay for shipping. And you could end up on a fake retail page like this. You could be browsing, searching Google for something, and a sponsored result comes up linking to this page. Get your free earbuds, just pay for shipping. You'd be on a news website or a site that you know is real and legit, but they use a third-party ad provider, and suddenly you're seeing an ad that says, get your wireless earbuds worth $175, just pay shipping. But it's a scam. This offer is too good to be true, and it'll deliver you to these fake retail websites. So you end up here in many different ways. And again, this type of scam picks up during the holidays. That's important to remember. Not just the undeliverable package scam, but also the fake retail website scams where they're offering you these products for these too good to be true deals. Right? $175, but saying only $8 shipping. So those are all examples of fake retail website scams. And we start out with the undeliverable package scam, and then kind of that evolves into the fake retail website scam there. So some things you could do, you know, you see these too good to be true offers. Do some research first. You know, go and Google it and see what other people say. What if other people have feedback or reviews. When those screenshots that are shared, those fake retail websites, I went and I Googled them, right? And I found no information. They were brand new. They were just registered. There was no information about them at all. And that right there is as bad. That's a red flag. That's just as bad as people saying that as it having bad reviews. No information is as bad as having bad information, right? Because that means that the sites are brand new, no one's had success purchasing from them, and that's exactly what scammers do. They register these websites, put them up real quick, and there aren't any reviews or any details about them yet. So that's a red flag. And in the case of the examples I just showed you, like these, right, technojoyhaven.com and luxuryproductportal.com, right? They used all different domains, website names, even though clearly they're the same, provider, same scammer. But when I researched any of these names, whether it was luxuryproductportal.com or technojoyhaven.com, they have been freshly registered. There was no reviews about them. There was no reports about them. There was nothing to indicate it was a trustworthy site. When you went to the homepages were empty, right, which is a red flag. So there's things you should check in a situation like this, where if you're considering entering your information on some kind of too good to be true deal. And be aware and suspicious, right? That's always the rule. Be aware, be suspicious, and verify. So watch out for those this holiday season coming up, right? These undeliverable package scams and these fake retail website scams. Now we got the 4th of July coming up in a month, right? So watch out for fake scams offering free flags, just pay for shipping, things like that. Hey, Andy, thanks for attending. I hope to see you next time. We do this usually every week. So hit that subscribe button. And again, thanks for hanging out and chatting for a bit. It was good seeing you. Yeah, Dave mentioned in chat, there's also a way to check when a website... I did that too. I checked when the websites were created. They were all freshly registered. Yeah. All of them registered privately, of course. I'm going to show you some tools a little later in this live stream too that you can check a website with. We actually have on a Scamware 101 website. I'll show you right now real quick. You go to scamware101.com, and we're going to talk about this section later, but we have the tools and software section here. And towards the bottom, we have some website safety lookup tools here. There's just additional ways you could check too, right? We got the Norton Safe Web. You see if there's any community ratings or reviews about a website. We got the Google Safe Browsing. Google will tell you if the text of the website is unsafe and dangerous. We got Virus Total, which will tell you if there's any malware or other breaches or other details about the site. So there's some lookup tools we put on our website too here. But just Googling it, just Googling a website name too, and if nothing comes back, it's a red flag. It's just as bad as if bad reviews come back. It's no information, I got one more scam to show you, at least in this batch, and then we're going to go into tools and software a little bit. That's just a gift card received scam. And this is the email version of a gift card received. We're actually going to show you a physical version of this one a little later. But in these gift card received email scams, a victim receives an email notification that they received a gift card. When the victim attempts to activate the gift card by clicking a link, malware is installed on their device, or a fake website is opened to steal personal information. Right? So you get these offers in the email. And you want to be careful. You don't just want to activate every single free gift card offer you receive. Always be suspicious of links. But an example we're going to show here is this one claims that you received a $50 gift card, a Venmo gift card. Right? Your company has given you an employee rewards card. Activate your card today. Okay. Well, before you go clicking the activate link, reach out to your employer and see if they actually sent you this card. Right? Confirm it's real. Confirm they actually sent it to you. If it claimed to be from a family member, reach out to a family member and see if they sent it to you. You would want to reach out and thank them anyway, right? So use the opportunity to verify they actually sent it to you before clicking a link. Because you can click that activate link, and it could take it to a malicious website, installs a virus, it asks you to link it, or it asks you to enter personal information or link it to an existing card that it steals. There could be so many scams once you click that activate link. Be suspicious of any offers that just randomly come in claiming to be from a retailer. for a gift card. But the ones you can verify, reach out to that family member, or in this case, that employer, and confirm, hey, did you send me this gift card? That's how you would handle these fake gift card scams that you get in email. And that concludes our second batch of scams that we usually go over. We got one more batch, or two more batches coming up, so we still got some more to go tonight. What is it, 8 p.m.? We're right on schedule here. And I even have the page open already, because this is the portion of the live stream where we talk about tools and software that you could use to protect yourself, which we've tried to compile into a useful list and put them under the resources on our scamaware101.com website. Because we are trying to build our website into a one-stop resource and the place to go for scam awareness information and related topics. But first, if you're just joining, thank you for joining our live stream. We do this every week, every Thursday. My name is Jared with Scamware 101. Our goal is to spread awareness of these scams so you can protect yourself, protect your loved ones, recognize these scams when you're being a target. Scammers are getting more and more advanced and trickier to recognize and identify. So it's important to be aware of their latest tricks and what they're capable of, and know the types of scams that are circulating, who they're impersonating, right? And we hope to spread some awareness and maybe help you avoid getting scammed, or help you identify a scam before a loved one becomes a victim. So welcome to the live stream. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't yet. The more likes we get, the more our content gets shown by the algorithm. So help us out. Hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on all your favorite social media platforms still. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, X. So if you're on any of those, definitely find us, follow us. Trying to build up our following across all the platforms, because you never know these days. One day one gets shut down, another one gets open, so better to have you all across them all. The ones we're most active on, though, is Facebook and YouTube. So definitely follow us on Facebook if you haven't yet. It's facebook.com/scamaware101. And we have links to all our social media pages here on our homepage on scamaware101.com. So if you can't find us, go to our website. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see a link to each of them. And while you're there on scamaware101.com, you can click Join Mailing List. Join our free email list. We'll send you reminders when we're going live, send you some useful scam awareness tips. It's free to join. You can unsubscribe at any time. So, scamaware101.com, hit Join Mailing List. All right, so let's talk tools and software. So, scamaware101.com, tools and software section. The first 4 links that we have here are data breach lookup tools. And let me tell you why these are important. First of all, what these data breach lookup tools do is they tell you if any of your private information linked to your email address or your phone number has been exposed in data breaches. Meaning, these third parties that you've used, retailers that you've used, services that you've used, your doctor's office, etc. These third-party services, they get breached. Their data gets stolen. Right? Hackers get in and they steal your information from these third parties, unfortunately. Right? So tons of your information is out there on the internet for scammers to purchase. A lot of it's being sold on the dark web. There's nothing you can do about it. And a lot of it could be scary information, including passwords. So passwords that you use for your services might already be exposed and available to these scammers. Your social security number might be exposed and available to these scammers. So there's these data breach lookup tools that you could use. I have links to 4 of them for reliable, trustworthy, well-known ones that you could use. They're all free to do the lookup. Some of them try to sell you identity monitoring and things like that afterwards, but that's fine. The lookups themselves are actually free, and you should definitely use each of them and see which ones or what information has been exposed because of data breaches. Ones that are attached to your email address, ones that are attached to your phone number. and do all four. A couple of them take email address and phone number. Check each on the ones that do. But you'll be surprised about what information comes back. And it's important to know. Because whatever information comes back, scammers know it. That's for sure. And again, passwords might come back. You'll see what passwords that you might still currently use. Meanwhile, scammers already have them. The bad guys already have them. So it'll be important to see what information about yourself is out there. And you do that by doing these quick data breach tools. It take 2 minutes. Just hop over to each of these links, pop in your email address, pop in your phone number, and see what data has been exposed. Next section here on our tools and software and tools page. We have a few affiliate links. Actually, we got approved as an affiliate for NordPass and Malwarebytes. So we put a couple links up here for you to save some money. And they're on software that we would have put links here to anyway. NordPass, NordVPN, well-known, industry trusted, good software. I've used them both before. I have no problem recommending them. I feel fine recommending them. NordPass and NordVPN, good pieces of software. So if you need a password manager, which you should be using a password manager, or you're considering purchasing NordPass, here's a link. Save 56%, get 3 months free. It ends up being like $45 or something like that for like 2 years. I think like $35 for 2 years. So use my link, get that big discount. We get a little bit of cut too. So that's for NordPass. NordVPN. Almost everybody knows NordVPN. It's known across the industry. If you're going to use VPN, Nord is usually the way to go. Save 72%. So we have the link here. Get up to a year free. Save 72%. NordVPN. If you need a VPN or want to use VPN, click our link and save a nice chunk of savings. And we got a link to Malwarebytes Premium, which is an awesome piece of software. We have some free software we're going to discuss too, which we'll talk about Malwarebytes free. But Premium has real-time protection, whereas free, you just have to run it on demand every time. You got to run a scan manually every time. But Malwarebytes Premium, it's real-time protection. So it's good software. A lot of people know about it. If you're thinking about upgrading to Malwarebytes Premium or purchasing Malwarebytes Premium, use my link, save 25%. So links there for you. Take advantage of it if you're thinking about purchasing that software. That's it for affiliates that we put on here. Got approved for a bunch of others, but I don't want to get NordPass on here, Malwarebytes. They're most relevant to what we're doing here. I just didn't want to put any old software links on here. So anyway, if you're thinking about buying some software, check those out. Use my links, save some money. And as far as free software goes, we have a link to Malwarebytes Browser Guard here. I've been using this for months now, and I added it to this list here because it's free, and it's just a browser extension. Add it to Firefox, add it to Chrome, right? And it blocks ads and scams. You know, it's not 100%, but it definitely blocks a lot of annoying ads and a lot of annoying scams that I would usually get when I'm browsing the internet. So I like it. So I put it here. It's useful. Check it out. It's free again. Then we got Malwarebytes free. I mentioned Premium earlier, but we got Malwarebytes free, which is a great piece of software. Download for free. Run a scan of your computer and see if you got anything nasty on there. It'll help clean it up if you do. But I've been using Malwarebytes free for years and years. I've been in the IT business for years and years, and Malwarebytes been around and trusted by IT professionals for as long as I can remember. So check it out. And then I got a link here to Bitdefender Antivirus. So I have this here because if you're only using Windows built-in antivirus, here's a free option that it's just better than relying on your built-in antivirus. It has better website browsing protection, and it's pretty good. So it's Bitdefender Antivirus free. If you already have a paid antivirus or antivirus installed, you're fine. But in the case where you don't have an antivirus installed, you're just relying on the default Windows antivirus, right? There's a good free antivirus that you can install on top of it. Bitdefender Antivirus is free. It might pop up try to get you to buy premium every now and then, but other than that, it's not very annoying. It does its job. It's good, and there's a link there for you if you need antivirus protection. So there you go. Again, this is all on the online tools and software page. And I might be breaking this out in different sections soon as it grows. But the next section here we have is reverse image lookup tools. And these are interesting and related to scams, romance scams specifically. Right? So especially if you're online dating or talking to someone on the internet you don't know, You could take their pictures that they've sent you. You could run them through a reverse image lookup. There's one called TinEye. There's another called Bing. There's another that Bing has called Bing Visual Search. And you can actually use Google Image Search as well. So we have the 3 links there. But you could take the pictures of, let's say you meet someone on a dating site. You take their pictures, look them all up on these 3 reverse image searches, and it'll come back. It'll tell you if it found their pictures anywhere else on the internet, which means you could be talking to a scammer. They could just be using the pictures of somebody else's pictures, right? So, no, it's not 100% guaranteed, but this is one way you could verify who you're actually talking to, or at least see if there's, public pictures, coming up as somebody else that they might have stolen and been using. So that's reverse image lookup tools. We have a few links to those on our tools and software page, scamware101.com. And we have those website safety lookup tools I mentioned a little earlier when we were talking about the fake retail websites. You go to Nord Safe Web. It'll tell you if there's any community ratings or reviews on a website. Have a link to Google Safe Browsing. It'll tell you if a website was detected as unsafe or dangerous. We have a link to Virus Total. It'll tell you if there's anything suspicious going on that it knows about. Files, malware, breaches, things like that. So there's 3 different tools you could use just to check a website, the safety of it. And then the last 2 links we have on this page are actually scam report lookup tools. We have a link to BBB, their scam tracker tool, and a link to the AARP's scam tracking map. And those are fun. At least I think they're fun. You can go check them out. You see the latest reports, the types of scams people are reporting. It tells you where on the map the report's coming from. And we actually wrap up this live stream usually. We'll see how the viewers count is looking towards the end of this live stream. But when we usually wrap it up, the last thing we do is I break out the ARP scam tracking map, and we check out some of the latest reports coming in and see what's going on around the country this week. We talk about the latest scams that are being reported. Usually like the last 15 minutes or so of our live stream here. And there we go. That's the tools and software page over on scamware101.com. Again, you get tipped by going to our homepage here. And tools and software. You see the link right here. That's just some of the resources we're trying to compile and list on our website related to scam awareness. We have a few other sections that we're getting built out too. We have a knowledge base we're building out, which is fun. We only have about like 8 or 9 scams listed there now, but I got about 60 more that I got to get listed here. But we're building out this knowledge base about the type of scam. So you click on it, it'll give you a definition, show you a video if we have one about it. In this case, tech support scams. Then we have our video that we did about it here. Which, by the way, you can see on our YouTube channel later if you want. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our videos later. We release scamwares videos too, and you might want to share some with your loved ones. And then, of course, while you're on our website, join our free email list by clicking Join Mailing List. All right, cool. Looks like the viewers are down a little bit. And my coffee cup is empty, and we're right on schedule, so it looks like it might be time to refill my coffee cup here. And then we'll go into the third and final portion of our live stream, uninterrupted. If you're still with me, say hi in the chat. Let me know you're watching. If you just joined, hit that thumbs up and tell us in the chat. Let us know how you found us. Share your experience about scams. We want to hear from you. If any of the scams we're talking about have tricked you before or you've encountered them, let us know. We do this live stream every week. And our goal is to spread awareness about common scams so you can protect yourself, protect your loved ones. We start at 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. So we're about 2.5 hours in, give or take. Yeah, we're about 2.5 hours in. So probably got about another hour left after I fill my coffee cup here. But we still got some more good scams coming up. We have Social Security scams. And then we have IRS and tax season scams. A scam that I'll call it a discount scam for now, but we have a recording of a Comcast discount scam, actually. So if there's anybody with Comcast, you might want to stay tuned for that one to be aware of this scam that I'll be talking about in a little bit. And then we have the snail mail scams. We're still going to talk about snail mail scams after that because we're still being targeted by postcards in the mail and fake letters in the mail. You know, now that QR codes are around, you get a letter in the mail with a QR code. That's a scam. So we're going to talk about those in a little bit too. So we still have about one more hour left. And some would say we're saving the best for last here. And it looks like we got the West Coast joining us in about 15 minutes or so. So we usually see a bump about 8:30 Eastern time over here from the West Coast. So all good stuff coming up. So stick around and let me know you're still here. Let me know in the chat that you're watching. We're going to go on to our second coffee break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. And then we shall continue. right. Still got some people here. Excellent. Welcome, welcome. We're going to the third portion of the live stream here. Third for final portion, about an hour left. Lots of good stuff to cover. Lots of good scams to still go over and examples to share. Text messages, emails, phone calls, etc. If you're just joining us, welcome to the live stream. My name is Jared with Scamware 101. We do this live stream every week to spread awareness about scams so you can protect yourself, protect your loved ones. We go over about 20 different types of scams on these live streams. But we also have videos on YouTube that you could share with your loved ones. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up, give us a like. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more our content gets out there. And that's the goal, is spread awareness of these scams. You can also join our free email list. It's on scamaware101.com and click Join Mailing List. And you can follow us on all your favorite social media platforms, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. We're most active on Facebook and YouTube, so if you're on Facebook, definitely follow us. We need the followers, and always appreciate more subscribers on YouTube. And if you're just joining us, say hi in the chat, and any scams we're about to talk about or any examples I show, let us know if you've encountered them in the chat too. All right, so the next scam we're going to talk about are Social Security scams. And there's a few different types of Social Security scams to be aware of. One of the types is Social Security impersonation scams, where they claim there's a problem with one of your accounts, right? So they'll reach out to you on the phone. The scammer will impersonate Social Security, and they'll claim there's an issue with a victim's number or their benefits, and they'll threaten action unless immediate payment or information is provided. Right, so they'll impersonate Social Security. They'll say something's wrong, a payment's due, or there's a problem with their billing. They'll say something like their benefits are about ready to be canceled, or something to convince them to provide financial information. So that's one type of Social Security scam. Right, when someone's reaching you on the phone and they're impersonating Social Security, claiming something is wrong. But I have another version of a Social Security scam that someone reported recently. It's an email that comes in, and it appears like it's from Social Security, and it's a statement, or at least it claims to be a statement. And here's an example of that email. All right, this is how it looks like when it comes in on a mobile device. It's harder to see that it's not really from Social Security. It just says Department of. And then it says, to see your statement, please download a file from this link. And it has, or at least it looks like it has, a link to ssa.gov, which is the real website of Social Security Administration. It says, we hope you find your new statement useful and informative. Thank you for using Social Security Administration services. Please do not reply to this email as we are unable to respond to messages. This file works on computers only. That's a little bit of a red flag, right? So anyway, this is what the email looks like when it comes into someone's mobile device. But if you click that link, it's going to be a virus. This isn't really from Social Security Administration. So if you take a look at that email on a PC, then it reveals a little bit more. You can actually see the email address it's from isn't really from Social Security, right? It's some other foreign address.co.ke. I think that's Kenya. Could be wrong. And then when you move the mouse over the link, you see it doesn't really point to ssa.gov. It points to a fake website link, like a link that's all gibberish, which is probably going to install a virus on your computer, which is why they say this file works on computers only. So this is an example of a different type of Social Security scam. In this case, it's an email that claims to be it's like a statement from Social Security, right? A report or a statement that supposedly was sent to you from Social Security, but it's not. It's a scam, and it's going to install a virus if you click that link. So don't trust it. Even if it comes in on your phone and looks more like this, where it looks more believable. Be suspicious. Don't trust it. Don't click that link. So that's an example of, we said Social Security impersonation scams. A lot of times you think just phone calls, scammers impersonating Social Security over the phone. But in this case, you got to look out for emails that claim to be from Social Security, claiming that's a statement or a report. So, Social Security scams, be aware of them. They're happening. They're a big problem. Social Security has been posting on their website warnings about Social Security scams for years. On their envelopes, on their actual envelopes sent out on physical mail from Social Security, they actually say on envelopes, beware of scams, watch out for scams. I took a picture of one of those the other day, and I meant to get it ready to share it on the live stream, but I don't have it ready for this week. But I took a picture of that the other day just to show everybody, look, they're even warning about it on the envelopes. Watch out for these scams. So, Social Security, watch out for, even mentions of Social Security should be setting off red flags and alarms in your head. Especially as changes with Social Security start happening and it starts getting media attention or talked about, and scammers pay attention to that stuff. And Social Security is always a hot topic when things are being reported about it, like changes to it or possibly doing this or possibly doing that. Scammers are going to take advantage of that, and they're going to start sending out these scams like based around that. So always be aware of any mention of Social Security, whether it's somebody calling about it or an email referencing it. So that's Social Security scams. Let me know in the chat if you guys ever gotten any scams like that, or heard about somebody getting scammed like that. Next few scams we're going to talk about are actually IRS and tax season scams, which are actually still relevant now, because there's no reason that these scams are about to go over need to stop after tax season. They still run them a few months afterwards, and we'll go over why and how in a few minutes. But let's talk about the tax and IRS impersonation scams. And this is similar to Social Security ones we talked about. There's different tax and IRS scams, right? So there's ones you have to worry about where fraudsters impersonate tax authorities, claiming the victim owes taxes and must pay immediately to avoid penalties or arrest. They often demand payments via untraceable methods, right? So this is when, in most cases, someone calls you over the phone. They claim to be from the IRS. They claim you owe money. You have to pay immediately. They claim you owe taxes, right? A lot of times it could be a recorded phone call saying that you owe taxes, you owe back taxes. And they impersonate the IRS, and that's the scam. A lot of times they'll tell you to withdraw money and pay it in some unusual way, like gift cards or cryptocurrency, which are major red flags. We talked about that earlier in the live stream. Watch out for red flags. We have a video about red flags. Check it out later if you missed that portion of our live stream. But yeah, these scammers call up. They impersonate the IRS. They tell you got to pay immediately. They might threaten you with arrest. It's okay to say no and hang up. It's okay to hang up and go talk to a professional, right? Don't just go along with it because an unsolicited phone call tells you got to pay. So be suspicious of IRS and tax impersonation scams like that. But there's a different type of tax and IRS impersonation scam that we were warned about. And that was, or at least warned about this year, was this text message going around. And this one's claimed to be from the Internal Revenue Service. And it says, you're eligible to receive a $1,400 economic impact payment. Please provide your accurate personal information. We will deposit the amount into your bank account or mail a paper check within 1 to 2 business days. Right, and so it's a fake text message impersonating the IRS. And instead of saying there's something wrong with your account and you need to owe money, this one's saying that you're eligible to receive a payment. But click this link and enter your details. Right? If you click that link, they're going to ask you your personal information. They're going to ask your bank account information. Right? And it's all fake. So the IRS actually warned specifically about this text message, this tax season that was circulating. I know somebody that received this text message, and they thought to themselves, it was after they already filed their taxes. So they thought to themselves, okay, I'm being notified about an economic impact payment I could get. Right? And he thought it was because he filed his taxes. I filed my taxes. Now they're letting me know I got an impact payment. Right? But it's all fake. It's all a scam. So even though tax season is technically, I guess, over, you can still get a text message like this and be fooled. You know? But be aware, if you get this text message, it's 100% a scam. There is no $1,400 economic impact payment, and the IRS is certainly not notifying people by text message. All right, so be aware of this scam. And another interesting thing about this scam is we were warned about 2 years ago. The IRS warned us about an email version of this scam. So that just brings up an important point to remember, which is that text message scams could usually be adapted to be email scams as well, or vice versa. Email scams, which was the case 2 years ago, because this was an email scam, could get adapted to be a text message scam. So now we're seeing that as a text message scam going around. So just keep that in mind too. Just because you get a text message doesn't make it any more trustworthy than an email, than a phone call, than anything. And last thing about this example on the screen here, notice that instruction at the end? Please reply with yes, and exit and reopen the text message. That's that red flag we talked about and we saw on so many of the previous examples, right? You see this instruction at the end, it's a red flag. It says the scammers always put that at the end of their text messages. Well, not always, but when you see it, it's a scammer. So that's a IRS impersonation scams to watch out for during tax season. But there's a couple other scams that you should be watching out for during tax season, and they're still circulating right now. And one of the most common ones are tax forgiveness scams. And in this case, these tax forgiveness scams, these are actually third parties that are promoting the services. Sorry, I'm just getting the robocall up here and ready. Lots of robocalls going around, and they're offering tax forgiveness, but they're scams. The phone calls all open up with "you owe back taxes," and they don't really know who you are. These phone calls are just calling everybody, and they open the call with "you owe back taxes." So right off the bat, they're trying to scare people into, "Uh-oh, I owe back taxes. I better see what's going on with these people." Right? So it's a scam right off the bat. And there's tons of these tax forgiveness scams circulating right now, and a lot of them are these robocalls. And the robocall I'm about to play you was provided to me by multiple people, and I actually received one myself. And it's identical, but it sounds very believable. It sounds like it's a real person, but it's a robocall. It's a recording, even though it's designed to sound like it's somebody with your file on their desk and they're calling for you. As you listen, realize that this phone call could apply to anybody. There's nothing specific that really indicates it's meant for you. It's the same call, just played for everybody over and over again, random phone numbers. And the idea is to scare someone into thinking, "Oh, I owe back taxes. I better talk to these people." Right? So, and even if you did owe back taxes, don't interact with these people. Get your own accountant. Don't go interacting with unsolicited phone calls from people claiming to know things about you like this. All right, so let's listen to the recording here. And let me know in the chat if you received any similar phone calls like this. So again, this is an example of a tax forgiveness scam. The scammers start circulating these robocalls telling you owe back taxes and they can work with you. It was all a scam. Here's how one of those phone calls may go.
Hi, this is Lindsay Carter from the Activation Department. Give me a call back at 833-850-2527. Our records indicate you have some back taxes owed. You're now eligible to apply for them to be forgiven with the Zero Tax Balance Program. Any back owed taxes can be enrolled to be forgiven through this program. But we do need to sign up this week. Just give me a call so we can start the process. It's really quick. And I'll keep your file open here. So my number is 833-850-2527. If you've already resolved this, call back and press 2 to be removed. Can't wait to speak with you. 2.
Right, so that's an example of these tax forgiveness services, robocalls that are calling around saying you owe back taxes and trying to get you to work with them. So don't trust unsolicited phone calls like that. And there were a bunch of things that were shady about that phone call, too. They said that, first of all, I said, I'm calling from the activation department. Like, what does that even mean, activation department? Right? Then they didn't leave, they told you have to call them by the end of the week. Right? So they're trying to rush you into calling them. They're trying to scare you into acting quickly. They open up with saying you owe back taxes, whether you do or not. Everybody who got that call said that. So there's just all these red flags that pop up with that message in general that right off the bat it's a scam. But good job with the AI voice though. I mean, it actually sounds like, she says, "I have my file on your desk," and so good job with the AI. It sounds a little almost convincing, but it's a recording, and they're just seeing who will fall for it. So be aware of phone calls like that, these tax forgiveness scams. I was getting a lot during tax season. It has slowed down since, which is good, but they haven't stopped completely, and I'm sure other people are still getting them. See, John in the vertical chat. I don't know if he's still there or not, but I'm sure his elderly cousin, that's one that his elderly cousin should be aware of, right? Those tax scams. All right, folks, we're getting there. We got another scam to go over here. By the way, who's still here? Say hi in the chat. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already yet. Say hello and let us know you're watching. We do this live stream every week. My name is Jared with Scamware 101. Please like, subscribe, follow. You can find us on social media. Facebook.com/Scamware101. Definitely use some more Facebook followers, so appreciate the follow if you're on Facebook. All right, the next scam. I don't know what this would officially be called. It's an interesting one, though. I'm just calling it a discount scam. But anyway, it's a phone call that comes in, and it claims to be for Comcast. And you'll hear the phone call. I'll play it for you. But supposedly how it would have proceeded if I had interacted with them was eventually they would have said there's a special offer going on, and to purchase a gift card as part of that special offer. At least according to this one victim's report. But anyway, let's take a listen to this phone call. And if you're a Comcast customer, then be aware of this one, because I'm not a Comcast customer, so I knew right away it was a scam. But if I had been a Comcast customer, I don't know, maybe I would have had to look into it more or whatever, right? So anyway, let's take a listen, and then we'll look at this person's report about it. So,
hello, this voicemail is from Comcast Xfinity. Your current 50% discount on your monthly bill will expire by the end of the day. To maintain your reduced rate, call the number on your caller ID immediately. This is your final reminder to act. Call back now. Thank you.
Right, so I mean, there's a red flag where right off the bat where I say call the number back on your caller ID. Right, I talked about that one a couple times. You hear that in the message. They didn't even leave a real phone number. So you know it's a scam when they say call the number back on your caller ID. So that's an example of that. But in this case, they're saying that my 50% discount was going to expire, right? So if I'm a Comcast customer, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what do you mean my bill's going to go up? My bill's going to double? What's going on, right? And then it says to call back about the offer, right? So then when you call back, apparently there's this report, at least from a victim, where they told them that their offer was going to expire, but they were doing another offer with Target, and if they paid for 6 months in advance with a Target gift card, they could keep the same price. So it sounds like that's how that scam goes when you interact with these people. If you had called back about that offer, and then they tricked the victim into buying a $500 gift card and sending it to them. But it's not really Comcast; it's a scammer. But his description of what happened: cable called me, offered me 50% off my bill. Right. And in his case, what's interesting is he warns that they already knew a lot about him. They knew how much he paid each month. He said they already knew the last 4 digits of his account number. So they knew things about him. And I'll tell you why they knew things about him. Because of data breach. We talked about this earlier. This is a good example about knowing what the scammers know about you. Right? Comcast Xfinity has gotten breached, I think, multiple times. I know at least once they've gotten breached before, but I'm pretty sure it's multiple times at this point. And because of that breach, scammers have access to their customers, and they know certain things about their customers, like the last 4 digits of their account, their billing method and things like that. Right? They were able to steal all that information from Comcast Xfinity. So now they turn around and they use it in these scams. First of all, they have a list of Comcast customers that they know to target. right? So they call up those customers, and then they tell them this information about themselves to convince them, hey, this is really Comcast. I know all this about you. But it's really just stolen information from a data breach, right? And the person thinks, okay, this is real. This is legit. You know, the caller ID might show Comcast's phone number, right? Because they're able to manipulate the caller ID, right? Got to keep mentioning that. Always remember, scammers can control what the caller ID shows. So, anyway, so this is just an example of these fake, I guess you would call it a discount offer or discount scam. I don't know. But you get that phone call saying that your discounts could expire or there's a discount available, and then they try to trick you into purchasing a gift card as part of some kind of promotion. So we get phone calls like that, be suspicious. You know, especially if they say call number on screen back. It doesn't even say like call us back at this number. So that's an example of just some kind of discount scam offer. You know, be suspicious, especially if you're a Comcast Xfinity customer. I mean, obviously you're being targeted. You know, I'm not just picking on Comcast Xfinity either. You know, all these major providers have been breached at this point. Like, they really have. It's hard to find one that hasn't at this point. At some point had their customers' data stolen and breached, and now their customers are targets. They may have offered free credit monitoring for a couple of years, but you'll be targets for much longer than that. So who's still with me? Say hi in the chat. We just got through our almost last batch of scams here. We have our last batch, and this last batch we focus on snail mail scams. So this is the good stuff. This is stuff that you might not necessarily realize is still going around. Because it's funny, I think a lot of us, we get used to being targeted by scam emails, scam phone calls, scam text messages, right? But we forget that, hey, we're still being targeted by regular mail too. So I do have a bunch of examples to share with you of these snail mail scams that are circulating and targeting us, especially with QR codes as well. They make these physical postal service scams, these snail mail scams. QR codes have kind of brought new life to these types of scams, because now it's much easier to trick people with these letters. They include a QR code to scan. You also start hearing about that one more during the holidays as well. They're called brushing scams. We did a video about those earlier. But let's talk about these snail mail scams. And hey, let me know in the chat if you received these. By the way, if you're West Coast joining us, say hi. Let us know. We're over there. We've been going, actually 3 hours we've been going so far almost. 5:45 Eastern time we start. So we're almost at 8:45 here. So we're about ready to hit the 3-hour mark. So if you're just joining us now from the West Coast, welcome. You guys always catch the end of it. I feel bad. Maybe I'll do one of these. I'll start super late if I get enough requests or enough interest. Maybe I'll do one of these late one even, starting from the beginning for you guys over there. All right, so we're going to talk some snail mail scams. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't yet. Say hi in the chat. If you're just joining us, go to scamaware101.com and hit join mailing list. Join our free mailing list. We'll let you know when we're going live and when we post new scam awareness content. All right, our first snail mail scam. Free gift postcards with QR codes. So, listen, this is a thing. You'll get a postcard in the mail and it'll say you get a free gift. Just scan this postcard. And it might work the exact same way as those fake retail websites we spoke about earlier, where they're offering you a free gift, but they're going to steal your credit card details. Just pay for shipping, right? And that's how they trick you into purchasing a gift. Or they'll link to a fake website that steals certain credentials. They can really redirect you anywhere they want with these QR codes that arrive in the mail. It's the same thing as clicking any link, right? That's all QR codes are. Is you should be suspicious of links that you receive, just like you should be suspicious of QR codes, because what QR codes is, they just direct you to links. That's all they are. They're just links, but they're a QR code. So it's the same thing as clicking a link. When you scan a random QR code, it's like clicking a random link. All right. So victims receive a physical postcard in the mail offering a free gift. When the victim attempts to activate the gift card by scanning a QR code, malware is installed on their device, or a fake website is opened to steal personal information. All right. And here's an example of a postcard you might receive. And notice how it's those wireless earbuds? That's one of the same items that the fake retail websites was offering, was those wireless earbuds. Because scammers, they keep track of what's popular, and they know wireless earbuds are popular, so they start adding those to their free scams, right? Free wireless earbuds, just pay shipping. As the holidays approaching, these popular items start getting attention and start selling out, right? You'll start seeing scams like this happening with, they'll just switch out the items with whatever item's hot, this season. But you get this postcard in the mail, it's got the QR code to scan. In this case, it says it'll take you to a phishing website that captures your personal information, name, address, Amazon account, and even your credit card number. And this is a great example of like a snail mail scam that could be adapted. It could be an email scam, right? You just get an email that says, get a free gift, scan here. It could be adapted to a text message scam. Free gift, click here. Right? It gets adapted to a fake retail website scam. So these free gifts just pay for shipping, or can be adapted to many different types of scams. So always be suspicious of offers that are too good to be true. And be suspicious of QR codes. And I understand the irony of me saying be suspicious of QR codes while I have a QR code on my screen, which, by the way, if you'd like to donate financially, scan that QR code or go to scamaware101.com/donate. See, it's actually a good example here since we're talking about QR codes. You don't have to trust my QR code because right under it, I have the URL to go to, scamaware101.com/donate. Right? But if you wanted to check that QR code, what you do is you would scan it, but before you actually go to it, you should see an option to view what the address is. And you would want to make sure it actually points to where it's supposed to. But a trustworthy source, like myself, you shouldn't even have to use the QR code, because right under it, it gives you a URL to go to. So I give you the option to bypass the QR code completely, just go directly where it's supposed to go. You don't have to worry about where the QR code might go. So that's how trustworthy QR codes are supposed to work. The most trustworthy ones are the ones you don't have to use. I like that. That's a good term. I gotta remember that. The most trustworthy QR code is one you don't have to scan. Boom. Anyway. So watch out for these free gift card scams. Just because they come in the mail through the postal service doesn't mean they can be trusted any more than one you got through an email. All right. And that just brings us to the topic of the QR code scams in general. Be suspicious of them. I'm going to give you a whole portion of this live stream setup that covers QR code scams. It is coming. I just got to get around to getting it organized. But these QR code scams, we're seeing them a lot more in general. Not just with fake postcards and gift cards, but we're hearing about parking meters that have QR codes. Scammers are replacing the QR codes. They're slapping stickers over them to malicious websites instead. So people go to pay parking, right? They'll scan the QR code that's on the meter and it takes them to a fake website. We're hearing about fake parking tickets, paper parking tickets being left on people's windshields. And it'll have a QR code that takes them to a fake website, like to pay a ticket. Brushing scams. We start hearing about brushing scams during the holidays, which, they say that they get packages and sometimes the packages have a QR code to scan. It'll say, scan this code to see who the package came from. Yeah. So many different QR code scams circulating around there. We could spend a whole another half hour on QR code scams in general. But for the purpose of this presentation, it's just something to be aware of, something to keep in mind, and think of them like clicking links. You won't just trust and click random links. At least you shouldn't. You should think of QR codes the same way. All right, so let's go on our next scam here. Seeing some more people viewing. Good to see the viewer count go up. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Hit that thumbs up and say hi. Just live stream every week, trying to spread awareness about scams. So stick around, and we still got a couple more good scams to go over here. You join our free mailing list, scamaware101.com, and hit join mailing lists. So the next scam is an inheritance scam. This is when victims are contacted with claims of a large inheritance from an unknown relative. But to claim it, they must pay fees or provide personal details. These scams exploit curiosity and greed to steal money and identity information. Basically, what happens is these scammers reach out to people, and they claim to be from law offices a lot of times. Hey, I'm from a law office. A client passed away and had an inheritance. They'll say you share the same last name, so you're entitled to an inheritance. They'll say we'll take care of everything for you. If you want to pursue this, we could take care of everything for you, right? And the whole catch is once they get you going back and forth with them, eventually they say, okay, you need to pay us fees, taxes, fees, or whatever, before we can send you the money. And that they end up just stealing whatever you pay them, and there was no inheritance, right? So it's all a scam. And in this example that we're going to share, we're going to show you an actual letter that's circulating, being sent to people through the postal service. But the same scam, there's plenty of email versions of this circulating. There's plenty of phone call versions. And inheritance scams like these have been around for a long time, right? So just because we're going to show you a letter version doesn't mean other ways of communication are safe, right? So watch out for inheritance scams. And here is an example of a inheritance scam letter. You can see it's dated November 29th. Last year, so I mean it's still barely 6 months old. So this is a recent scam. It's circulating. We know it's going around now. And you see it has letterhead. They try to make it look like it's from a real law office. And then it goes into this whole story. There's an unclaimed permanent life insurance policy held by our deceased client. $10,800,000. That's right, $10 million. The victim shared the same last name with you and was a stockbroker. Says she was a COVID-19 victim. So this scam's probably been circulating around since COVID, who died about 4 years ago. Since her death, no one has come forward to claim, and all our efforts to locate her relatives have proved unsuccessful. And then it says, in review of a strikingly similar last name and nationality with the deceased, we could claim the policy benefit. That's saying if you permit me to add your name to the policy, all proceeds will be processed. Oops. My bad. A sec. Click to zoom in by accident. Therefore, I ask for your consent to be in partnership with me for your claim of this policy benefit in view of the strikingly similar last name. If you permit me to add your name to the policy, all proceeds will be processed on your behalf. I wish to point out that I want 10% of this money to be shared among charity organizations. So that's nice. When they add that little 10% in there, it sounds like, oh, this must be a nice guy, not a scammer. So you give 10% of that $10 million to charities. And the remaining 90% will be shared between you and the law office, it says. This is 100% risk-free. This law office does have all necessary documentation to expedite the process in a highly professional and confidential manner. Notice confidential, there's a red flag, one of the red flags. This claim requires a high level of confidentiality, and it may take up to 30 business days. All right, so there's a confidentiality again. We mentioned earlier that's a red flag. When they're requesting confidentiality, it's an indicator that something's up. And then they have a gmail.com account to email. So, along with a more official sounding one, which is interesting. But anyway, so this is an example of a law office that's sending out these fake inheritance letters. Fake law office. And the way they get you is they make you think, okay, you're going to get $10 million. And eventually they're going to ask you to pay fees and taxes before it can be sent. And that's what they steal from you. And then you never get any of this supposed $10 million. And we did a quick Google search about this letter. And we found plenty of people reporting the exact same letter. And The only thing that was different was who it was addressed to and the name of the supposed dead relative, which was interesting because it did use the same last names. In this example that we had, the person it was addressed to did have the same last name as the supposed person who passed away. So whoever's sending out this scam, they're just switching out the names. You know, they're making the recipient and the name of the supposed deceased person match, and they're sending out this letter. But other than that detail, everything else is identical in these letters that are going out, these fake inheritance scam letters. So be aware. They're being delivered by the postal service. They're arriving to your email addresses. They're out there. All different versions, but see, there's low red flags. They're asking for confidentiality. That sticks out. It's a pretty well written letter, though. They didn't. No misspellings or capitalization or anything too bad sticks out. So it does look like a pretty well written letter. But you Google a couple lines of it, boom, you find plenty of other people reporting it. So always verify, always look into it. Be aware that there's inheritance scams like this, whether it comes through the postal service like this or an email. You don't just trust unsolicited communications. So that's an inheritance scam. Got a couple more scams to show you here. 2 more, and then we're going to go mess around with the scam tracking map on the AARP, which is always my favorite part of the stream. Fun way to wrap it up the last 15 minutes. But we still have 2 more scams to share with you here. Sticking with the snail mail scams. By the way, let me know if you're still here. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know in the chat. It's our last chance to get some extra engagement in here and maybe get some more views and some more exposure. Spread these scams and awareness about them. Get some more viewers in here, or have the algorithm show us more later after the fact, possibly. So hit that thumbs up. Give us a like. I think there's a thanks option too available now too, which lets you send us money on YouTube. But they take like 30%. So honestly, if you're gonna send us money, use the donate link instead. But if you insist on using the thanks, I'll take it too. So will YouTube, but I'll take a little bit too. Fake renewal scams, subscription scams. So we got 2 more scams left, and we're sticking with the theme of snail mail scams. And this one's a fake renewal scam or a subscription scam. And again, this is a type of scam. It can be modified to be received in an email as well. We receive versions of this scam through email all the time. But victims are notified about renewals for subscriptions they don't have and prompted to provide payment information to either cancel or renew. And then scammers use information to steal funds. Most of the time. Other times they're just trying to trick you into paying for a service you don't need or a service you thought you needed. And an example we're going to show here of the physical letter of these fake renewal is this one. This claims it's for marketing services, and it did go to someone that had a website. And they make it look like it's a renewal. At the bottom, they're asking you to include your credit card details, telling you to mail it in, they have a date to return it by. And this could be an actual service out there. It could be. Maybe they'll give you a listing if you pay this, but judging by the letter they sent you, they make it look like it's a renewal and shady, right? So I'm using it as an example because this is exactly what scammers do. They'll send you a letter that looks like it's a renewal. It'll have a date that looks like maybe, see, they put return by. It doesn't say expires by. So the wording is in a way where maybe they could get away legally with sending out letters like this. But it's the same techniques that scammers use when they send out letters like this. They make it look like it's a renewal. They put dates there like it needs to be paid soon. They're trying to create urgency, pay by this time. A lot of businesses get targeted by these fake renewals too. And since it's only for $289, a lot of times businesses just pay it. So a lot of times they're the main target of this type of scam. Because they'll just get it in the mail. They'll think, oh, shoot, this looks important. Let me just pay it. But individuals get hit with these too. So be aware of letters like this that make it look like you have renewals, something important that needs to be paid. We see email versions of that all the time. One of the most common ones going around right now are like Netflix. Fake Netflix emails that say there's a billing issue or that your subscription is going to be needs to be renewed. Amazon Prime. There's a lot of fake emails going around saying that your Amazon Prime needs to be renewed. So they're all fake renewal, fake subscription scams, trying to make it look like a service you need to pay for. And some of the services you might even use and think that it's from them. You know, almost everybody has Amazon Prime. Almost everybody has Netflix. You know, that's why the scammers, those are the ones they choose to impersonate. Because likely that all the random people they send those emails to, it's a numbers game. And a lot of them will have Netflix, a lot of them will have Prime, right? But I digress. I'm getting off of the physical U.S. Postal Service examples and getting back to the digital examples. Watch out for them all around. They're still using snail mail, especially those fake renewal scams. And we've got one more scam to discuss, at least as part of the presentation here with examples, and that's a secret shopper scam. We actually released a video about this scam about a week ago. It's called the Secret Survey Mystery Shopper Scam. And this is an interesting one. We got some comments on the video too that people are still receiving these letters. So how these secret survey check scams work is you actually receive a physical letter in the mail. In this case, it's made to look like it's from Walgreens or CVS. And the letter will actually, the envelope will include a check. It'll actually have a check with it. You know, of course, the check is fake. It's never going to clear, but it includes a check. So you'll get this letter that appears to be from Walgreens or CVS. It claims you've been selected for a secret survey assignment. It basically is a mystery shopper assignment. They claim that all your costs are covered with the included check. You know, check for $2,480. It's going to cover the costs of doing the shopping, and it includes $450 as a commission. Right? So someone gets this letter and they think, oh, great, I've been selected and I've already got the check in hand. This is wonderful, right? And then the instructions, you know, it tells them to go purchase these gift cards. And in this case, in this example, it tells them to go purchase Apple gift cards. It tells them to purchase 4 of them. Or 2 of them? 4 of them total. It tells them to go to one store and buy 2 and go to another store and buy 2. So it tells them to buy 4 $500 Apple gift cards, or Razer Gold gift cards, or Nike gift cards, or Steam Wallet gift cards. So this scam, they accept a few different kinds of gift cards, but they do it under the impression that you're a mystery shopper and you're already holding a check that's going to cover the cost of this, and $450 is doing it. They also try to entice you to act quickly and offering the extra $200 if you carry the task out right away. But here's the thing, that check's it's gonna bounce, right? They're gonna tell you it's okay to deposit it in the bank, and you could try depositing it today, but in 2 or 3 days, you're getting notified from the bank. It didn't clear, and by then, they want to already have the gift cards from you. That's a scam. They want to get you out there purchasing the gift cards within the next 24 hours before you even notify the check's bad. And by then, you already spent $2,000 on these gift cards. The check bounces. Now you're stuck $200 in the hole, and the bank's going to hit you with a fee for having a bad check. And by the way, that $450 commission was never real. It was all part of the scam. So the scammer makes out with $2,000 worth of gift cards, and the victim's stuck holding the bag. And this is a physical letter, again, that you receive in the mail, and included in the envelope is a check. But it's going to bounce. Here's another example of a letter. Same deal. Starts to look like Walgreens, CVS. Same type of offer. It's going to include a check. The amount is different, and instructions are slightly different, but the same idea. And in this example, they only want Apple gift cards. This scammer only wants Apple gift cards. But this example actually lists a bunch of stores to go to where you can purchase the gift cards. Walgreens, Best Buy, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, Family Dollar, Meijer, Kroger, Safeway, Dollar General, Walmart, Speedway, Albertsons, all of them, right? So you go to any of those it's instructing the victim, go to any of those stores and purchase gift cards. It's got detailed instructions for victim to follow, but it's all the same deal. And the idea is the scammer gets the gift cards, and then 2 or 3 days later, the check bounces, and the victim's stuck owing $2,000, or stuck, out of $2,000. So we did a video about this one. You can see on our YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe and check that out. And we just went into more detail about this scam. Again, this one actually includes a physical check with it. So, and some people might find that convincing, not realizing that in a couple days, the bank will just say, nope, that was no good. So some takeaways about these secret survey check scams. Right, scammers still use the postal service to target individuals with snail mail scams. Just because you receive a letter in the mail, that doesn't mean it can be trusted. Right. Don't trust unsolicited letters that include a check in an envelope. Even if a check appears legitimate, wait for it to clear before using the funds. Better yet, call up the bank and confirm the funds are actually there. Takeaway 3. Any request to purchase gift cards should be considered a red flag. Right? We talked about this earlier when we were talking about red flags. Any mention of gift cards, it's always a red flag. Scammers, we know that's how they like to get paid. So once gift cards are getting mentioned, we need to stop and be like, wait a minute. I know gift cards are the only ones that take gift cards these days. Scammers love receiving gift cards. Be suspicious of any requests for gift cards. Receiving a job offer without applying is a red flag, right? So you're getting these letters in the mail to be a mystery shopper, but you never applied, right? So that's a red flag, in itself, as is any job offer that suddenly appears to fall in your lap. And legitimate job offers, they won't ask you to deposit money and then send it back. Like in this case, where it's asking you to deposit checks and then send, gift cards. So lots of red flags with that. And someone did comment on our recent video that we posted about this. They commented recently that they got one of these the other day, one of those letters in the mail. So this one's circulating, this one's going around, and be aware of it. It's a clever little snail mail scam. Right? It's convincing. It has that fake check attached. It looks legit. People could fall for it. Yeah, Dave Cruz mentioned Walmart had a sign warning shoppers about gift cards and scams. It's so small you could barely see it. Yeah, so does Best Buy, actually. I was in Best Buy a couple weeks ago, and I noticed behind the checkout counter, it was just like a printout. Somebody just printed out, beware of gift card scams, right? And just kind of hung it on the wall. It wasn't like a big poster or anything flashy. It was, barely noticed it, like you said. Hey, at least they're trying. At least they're trying, right? But I bet it's not doing much, which is a shame, because the cashiers, they're a serious point in this whole scam where they're a break point where they can make a big difference. A lot of times we hear about these victim stories or someone that's about to become a victim, and the cashier saved the day. Where the cashier was like, oh, wait, are you aware of these gift card scams that are happening? And they told you it was for what? They told you it was to pay taxes? Well, that's a scam. Hold on. Right? We hear about these. They save the day. They're kind of like the last chance to save the day. And the same thing with bank tellers. Sometimes the victims, they make it all the way to the bank. They're about to take out the cash, and it's the last point where they could be stopped. Right? And a bank teller will mention, hey, you said you need this money because of what? And it's like, well, that sounds like a scam. So we hear these stories where those points, those point of contacts, they save the day a lot of times. And they're like the last chance to save the day. So it was nice to see something hanging in Best Buy and to hear something's hanging in Walmart. But at the same time, it's like minimum effort. It's like print out a 3-word, beware of gift card scams. Print out a piece of paper and hang it. It's like, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Maybe. Probably not, but it shows someone cared. I'm interested in cases like that. I'm interested if it was like the manager at the store, or if a worker did it, or if they were told by corporate to do it, or asked by corporate to do it, or if somebody working there was just like, let me hang this up to warn people. I'm curious how those printouts end up hanging there. Because you think corporate would have sent out something that looks nice, maybe, right? So it makes me think that these individual franchises or branches, or they're making their own efforts. But anyway, yeah, so that's it for the 20 or so different scams we cover on the live stream. We have a little bit more left, though. We got my favorite part of the live stream here. So we'll take a look at the scam tracking map on the AARP website and see what scams are actually actively being reported across the country. We see, if the ones we went over, how they're fitting in the reports, if people are still reporting them. And then we see some other ones that maybe we could talk about briefly that we don't usually cover. So don't leave yet. We still got the next 20 minutes or so left. Should be a good time here. And if you're just joining, hit that thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help us spread awareness about these scams. We do this live stream once a week, trying to spread awareness of scams so you can protect yourself, protect your loved ones from these scammers. They're ruthless. They want to take everything you got. So watch out for these scams. Be suspicious. And help us spread the word. Help us put something good out there. And you can help support Scamware 101 by joining our free mailing list. We'll let you know when we're releasing new content or having a new event. We do have a plan to start doing some more webinars in the future, and we'll let you know about those when those are going to happen. So check out scamware101.com. Hit join mailing list. It's free. You can follow us on social media. Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, X. So follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're at Scamware 101. That's your username across all of them. But on our homepage, we have links to each if you can't find us. So definitely follow us on Facebook if you haven't already. We're trying to get our followers up there so we can get our stream going over there as well. All right. So let's go into the last portion of our live stream. We usually like to wrap it up by checking the ARP scam tracking map here. And like we talked about earlier, you can find that on our tools and software page on our website. So scamware101.com, click tools and software. And it's one of the last links at the bottom of the page here we have that links to the ARP scam tracking map. So you click that. It'll give you the option to look in your area only. I'm actually going to hit block because I want to look at the entire country here when that pops up. But it'll ask your location, and then if you hit allow, it will pop in your location. I'm going to hit never allow just because I want to show you the entire country. As you can see here, you can see the map right here where all different reports throughout the country are coming in. And you have the list of reports here, and it shows the newest first. And the newest one's usually 2-3 days old. There's a little bit of a delay. So all the ones we're going to look at are from the 27th, so 2 days ago. And by the way, there's going to be so many reports that we're not even going to get to the 26th, a day before that. We're just going to look at the first few pages of the 27th. There's so many scams coming in, right? So let's take a look at what was reported on the 27th going throughout the country. First one is the text from the Department of Transportation said their records show I have a ticket and fine to pay by a deadline or my license will be suspended. There you go, right off the bat. So that sounds like our unpaid road toll text message scam. And every week we see tons of reports about that one. Every week I get people reaching out directly to me with different examples of that one. Is that unpaid road toll scam. So we covered that one earlier in the live stream. That's an important one to be aware of, especially when you're traveling for the holidays. We sent out a warning about these unpaid road toll scams. We sent out a warning to our mailing list before the Memorial Day weekend, because we knew a lot of people were traveling. So we just sent out a warning reminding everybody about these unpaid road toll scams. And we still see people reporting them, right? So be aware, and we'll probably see that a bunch more times as we go through these reports. Call stating it was my grandson. The phone number was, I'm not going to read the phone number, but let's see what her story says. She doesn't give any more details, but call stating it was my grandson. So, you know what? I'm going to assume that's a grandparent scam. And we went over that one as well earlier in our live stream. We showed a video of a scammer actually performing that. That's when one of your older relatives gets contacted, the scammer impersonates a loved one, like their daughter or granddaughter. It sounds like that's what this person was reporting. Call stating it was my grandson. So, yeah, grandparent scams, we know they're going around. Auto-related scam. Illinois State Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, file a notice. Enforcement penalties begin, right? That's unpaid road toll again. This one claims to be a DMV. So that's what we're noticing. We're noticing that these unpaid road toll scams, they're impersonating everybody at this point, whether it's the Department of Motor Vehicles, right, the DMV, or the Department of Transportation, the DOT, right? They're impersonating all the different tolling services, whether it's SunPass or Easy Pass, Fast Track. The list goes on. So we know these unpaid road toll scams are still extremely common. I mean, within the first 5 reports here, 2 of them were the road toll scam. There's somebody warning about fake catfishing on Hinge, saying that led to an investment fraud scam. Right, so that's known as a pig butchering scam, and we know that a lot of times these scammers will initiate contact on dating websites, and this person's reporting that on Hinge. Someone's worrying about a fake job offer. They reached out to them about working for TikTok. And fake job offers are a very real thing. We don't talk about them much on a live stream. I should put something together to squeeze those in. But you do have to watch out for job scams, especially these unsolicited text messages that come in. No offering a job. No real job is it's not gonna arrive from getting a random text message, you know. Notice from 557, blah, blah, blah. Said I have a ticket, need to pay it immediately. I'm going to assume that's an unpaid toll ticket. Could be a parking ticket too, but probably unpaid toll. Here's a fraud. Okay, so this person says he got an email. There were misspellings, so that was a red flag. Good for him. Email claimed to be Microsoft 360 was renewing for 4 years for $660. But that's a fake order notification. He knew better than to click it or do anything. Here's somebody got a PayPal alert about an unauthorized transaction, $599 purchase of Bitcoin. Let's see what else he tells us in there. Okay, so this is a fake order notification. This one, so remember how we talked about the fake order notifications? I said that you could fill the product they claim was purchased. You could fill in with anything. The retailer that they claim to be, they could fill in with anything. In this case, they're claiming it's PayPal. That's the retailer. And they're claiming there was a purchase for Bitcoin for $599. So, and then it had a number to call to dispute it. So that's a fake order notification. She's being notified that an order for Bitcoin was placed on PayPal. And it's saying to call this number to dispute it, but it's going to be a scammer because that's how a fake order notification works. They're trying to trick you into calling a fake number to dispute it. And PayPal, we know that they get impersonated a lot. So, received emails saying $800 was transferred using Zelle. So Zelle's a red flag, but let's see what else this report says. We didn't give any other information. Yeah, she doesn't give much. She mentions Zelle, but that is a red flag that you should be aware of. You know, scammers do like to send and receive money on Zelle. Sometimes they'll use that as a way to to trick you. We've heard about scammers have been reaching out to people. It tells them that they need to transfer money to Zelle to renew the account, which is some kind of fake narrative that's going around. But the idea is to trick you into sending money or receiving money. But the point is Zelle. There's many different scams that are happening with Zelle, so that should be a red flag. If somebody reaches out to you and they're trying to get you to send money on Zelle, if they're impersonating an agency or a business, be suspicious. Very few businesses really accept Zelle. So it should at least set off a red flag. You know, Zelle was meant to like split the restaurant bill with friends. You know, it was never meant to do a big business on. But scammers come along and they take advantage. So, but Zelle's a red flag. Scammers use it, and we know that. Sure, there's legitimate purposes, but we know scammers use that service a lot, and it is a red flag. Someone wanting to know if I received a new Medicare card for 2025, which I know there are no new cards given. So watch out. This one comes up every week. We see reports about this every week. Scammers want to get your Medicare card numbers. So they're reaching out to people, and they're trying to tell them this story about we're going to send you a new card. We need you to tell us your card number, and they're going to ask personal information, and they're going to try to ask you for your Medicare card number, right? Don't give your Medicare card number to anybody on the phone. If somebody calls you, give you some story needing your card, don't trust it. Hang up and call the organization directly if they're claiming to be from, or call your doctor, but don't give out Medicare card information to unsolicited phone calls. It's a common scam that's going around. They want that card number because then they could file false claims and purchase equipment and resell it, or there's things that they do with your Medicare number, with your Medicare card. So don't give out that information. And again, we see this every week when we're going through these reports. So it's a very common scam, which, by the way, is worth mentioning. There was that huge healthcare breach. There was multiple healthcare breaches last year. And a lot of people's medical information got stolen, like complete medical records. So they know, a lot of these people that are targeted with Medicare scams, they probably already know they're on Medicare. So, and they might already know a bunch of details to try to convince them. So we're going to see a lot of health care and Medicare scams going around. And then the next report for that person, the next one right after that one was someone saying they're entitled to savings through Medicare, and then they're trying to get their Medicare number. Right, so that's a different type of scam. First one said that there was calling because they're going to get a new card, and then this one says that they're calling because they're entitled to savings. So 2 Medicare scams in a row right there to be aware of. Fake order notification, right? This person says they got a call saying their Walmart card was being used to make a headset purchase and to call to stop it, right? So that's a fake order scam. That's what we listened to earlier. I played a couple of recordings of those for you, showed you a text message version, showed you an email version. That's a popular scam, those fake order or fake purchase notification scams. All right, here's the next report. Here's an email version. This person got one from Old Navy claiming that they purchased something. So part of scam, fake order notification. Sister-in-law was scammed out of over $1,500. I'll see what that was. See if she gives us enough details. And we'll do one more page after this, and then we'll get the stream wrapped up. Sister-in-law was scammed out of $1,500. She led to believe someone was going to pay her bills, and they coerced her into buying an iPhone and an Apple Watch. And she was paying the bill for nearly a year before I was reported to police. All right. They don't give really too many details about how the scam worked, but they tricked her into buying an iPhone and an Apple Watch and had her paying the bills for a year. Yeah. I wish they get more details about that one. Fraudulent sales scam. This is Brandon from Walmart. There's been a charge to your account for PlayStation 5. There we go. So here's someone reporting the exact same scam that we played, that call from earlier. We played that recording for you, the Walmart recording, right, for the fake order notification, the one claiming to be from Walmart. And here's someone with that exact same report. So this is Brandon from Walmart, and they're saying a PlayStation 5. Was that PlayStation 5? I don't know. Let's listen to the recording I played earlier. Here's a recording of the same exact scam to watch out for.
We are trying to contact you concerning an unverified purchase of PlayStation 5 Special Edition bundled with Pulse 3D headset being ordered from your Walmart account for an amount of $859.50. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel, please press 1 or return our call on same number at your earliest convenience.
All right, so let's play that again because we see someone reporting pretty much the same call, right? This guy got a voicemail. Walmart has been charged your account for PlayStation 5. So this one's still going around. Got confirmation over here reported to the ARP. Here's somebody warning about a phone call about a bogus tax bill. Right, gotta watch out for those this time of year. The person pretended as a friend in need of money to pay the phone bills as bank was acting up. I'll see some more details about this. Whether a friend phone get hacked or something. Let's see. No. Person pretend to be a friend and needed money to pay the bills. Okay. Well, we see that type of scam on Facebook a lot. People create a fake Facebook profile. They put your friend's picture as their picture, and they send you a message, pretend to be them. Hey, man, can you send me $100? I'm stranded. Right? You don't realize it's a fake profile. Or they get into your friend's profile, and they send you a message as them. Right? So you do have to be suspicious of things like that. I had somebody on my Facebook send me, I don't really talk to them or anything, and they just sent me a random message one day saying, hey, can you give me $200? And I knew immediately that their profile had been hacked, and sure enough. So be suspicious of people ask you for money that you usually want it, especially over something like Facebook. So anyway, I think that's about it. Those are just some of the recent scams being reported over on the ARP Scam Tracker map, and it's a fun tool. Fun little tool to check out. It confirms that a lot of scams we went over, are still being reported by people, and still happening. So it's all active and important scams to be aware of that we go over here at Scamware 101. So, and if you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up, give us a like, say hi in the chat, let us know you're here. We'll do this live stream every week and spread awareness of scams. So you could help by subscribing to our YouTube channel, hitting the thumbs up. You could also join our free mailing list by going to scamaware101.com and clicking Join Mailing List. It's free to join. We'll send out reminders when we're going live. We'll send you out some scam awareness tips, and you can always unsubscribe if you want. We won't abuse the privilege of having your email address, I promise. So we're getting close to almost 4 hours here. I mean, I got a lot of viewers watching right now. So, if we're still active, I'd start from the beginning again if people are interested. The West Coast always gets on. We don't have, they always miss the beginning of these live streams. So, seeing a lot of viewers right now where if you guys are interested, let me know. Let me know in the chat. I'll circle back to the beginning if you all want to keep going. But this is usually the point where we wrap up the stream. But hit that thumbs up, hit that heart, and give me some reactions if you want me to keep going. If you haven't clicked like yet, let's get a last chance to click like. Help us spread our content. Again, we just do is put something good out there. As the first week that I actually put that donate QR code here on the screen. So if you do feel like donating, just scan that QR code or go to scamaware101.com/donate. Or if you're watching this video later, after the live, you can follow us on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. Check out our YouTube channel. A lot of scams that we covered tonight, we have videos about those scams on our YouTube channel. A lot of same examples are in those videos. So, if there's any specific scams that you think your loved one should be aware of, go check out our YouTube channel, and you might find a video there that you could share with them about the scam. The 5 red flags video, always good to share that with loved ones. Went over those red flags. It's a good starting point as far as recognizing a scammer when you're talking to them. If you haven't joined our mailing list yet, scamaware101.com, join mailing list. Make sure to check your junk folder because we send out a confirmation email. This way nobody could go subscribing someone else up for the address. We don't have to enable that, but we want to keep things secure and do the right thing. So that's why you get the confirmation email sent to you when you hit join. So make sure to check your junk folder if you didn't get the confirmation email. Don't want scammers coming along and subscribing everybody else to the mailing list. But anyway, it's 9:30, so I'm feeling pretty good about this live stream. We covered a lot. Had a lot of engagement from everybody. A lot of good chat. Hopefully we got some new followers. Hopefully you all appreciated what we put out there. May you learned something or were reminded about something that you could share with a loved one. And, thanks for watching, too. It always helps. We're monetized now, so when those ads play, there should be ads playing, I guess, and make a few cents off of each ad. I'll probably play one before I wrap up this live stream. But yeah, so it all helps. We appreciate the people watching, appreciate the subscriptions, likes. Even if you just subscribe on YouTube or you follow us on something else like Facebook. So we appreciate you all. And we appreciate your stories. I love hearing your scam stories or what you're hearing. We have some of you sending emails to us. You can email us at scams@scamware101.com or contact@scamware101.com. And that's about it. All right, everybody. So, I'm going to get this live stream wrapped up. Again, thank you for attending. I'm Jared with Scamware 101. We do this live stream, spread awareness about scams. We do it almost every week. You can check our live stream schedule on our website, scamware101.com. You can follow us on Facebook, and we post them on our events page. So, follow us on Facebook. Check out our events page. You can even RSVP to the events. Let us know you're going to go. And, yeah, follow us on your favorite social media. Join the Scamware 101 mailing list. Stay connected. We love to hear from you. And that's about it. Everybody have a great night. Have a great weekend. Until next time I talk to you, stay safe. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks again.